Good evening and welcome, everybody, to the final week of the Rainbow Six Siege Pro League for Season 2. My name is Sean Bloodbath Rosenbaum. Here's Kickstar, and we're ready to get underway with a fabulous evening of some final playoff games.
Yeah, you know, it is going to be a heavy day today. Of course, we do have Excellence in Vertical Gaming, who are going to be making their way through no matter what. But one of the teams between Elevate and Flipside, I mean, it's going to be weird not having one of those teams not at LAN this season.
It is going to be weird. And as we talk about these teams, let's take a look at the brackets for the playoffs to figure out just what went down last week and what's going to be going on this week. Starting off with our first game of the evening will be Excellence Gaming and Vertical Gaming. Now, they both won their respective matches last week. Excellence overseeing their match on Elevate, Vertical Gaming coming out on top 2-0 over Flipside Tactics. That means Excellence and Vertical got into the winner's match. Loser's match, however, will be taken advantage of by Elevate and Flipside Tactics.
Yeah. Again, now the important thing to note here is that you know, there's a little bit of an upset, of course, from Excellence Gaming making their way into that winner's bracket, of course, going undefeated through this whole season. And they didn't exactly have an easy bracket making it here. They beat out both Flipside and Continuum to make it into the, and then later, of course, Elevate GG. So they've gone up against 3 Titans and batted their way into the winner's bracket of the playoffs without any losing at all. Elevate GG and Flipside, on the other hand, have had a little bit of a rough go of it. Elevate GG making their way through a somewhat easier bracket, I have to say. I think they kind of had a nice, smooth go of it. They did end up beating Bittersweet in the losers bracket of their group stage, or the decider match of their group stage to make it here. Whereas Flipside, again, they got that 2-1 against Continuum.
Yeah, Elevate had to go against Infamy and Bittersweet, and ultimately, I mean, those are kind of two... Yeah. Those were anticipated to be easier matches for Elevate than what Excellence had to go through. Yeah,
or what Flipside had to go through, or what any of these teams who made it here had to go through. I mean, both of those teams, Infamy and Bitter, were the teams, of course, coming from the Challenger League from the previous season. So it was a little bit of a pretty one-sided.
Definitely. And I mean, if you think about it here, we look at our winners matches, our winners final between Excellence and Vertical Gaming. Both of these teams are solely undefeated 6-0 for the entire Season 2 event here. And that means someone today is going to walk away with a defeat. Now,
of course, there isn't a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Excellence or Vertical both. They have made it to LAN, but there is going to be that notion of being we're the top team coming out of North America. Of course, you're going to get that top 1 seed, but also, can one of these teams come out undefeated? I personally don't think so. I think we're going to see a third map for no matter what for between Excellence and Vertical.
Very possible, very possible. Now let's move on to our schedule for the evening, figure out which game's going to be first, what time it's going to be played, and who's going to be second. It's going to start off with Excellence Gaming and Vertical Gaming. That's going to be our first best-of-3 series this evening. Again, this is between the top 2 teams out of North America, and they are just fighting for the seed. They're playing for the seeding at LAN. Now, Elevate GG and Flipside Tactics will be the second matchup of the evening, and that is going to be one to definitely pay attention to, because the winner goes to Cologne, Germany. The loser sits at home and watches on Twitch.
Yeah, between Excellence Gaming and Vertical Gaming, they're obviously not going to be bringing out... I mean, I could imagine maybe seeing a few little cards thrown out there, but I think they're going to be saving those for LAN. Anything special either of those teams have is almost certainly going to be saved for LAN, so it's not going to be any surprises coming out of that match, in my opinion. But, again, there is that factor of being the #1 seed out of NA. And then also, if one of them can go undefeated, they could be like, oh, we had a perfect season coming out of our region. That would be pretty something. Elevate GG and Flipside Tactics, on the other hand, that's the sort of match that we're talking about, one of these 2 absolute titans of teams not making it to LAN. And you know what? Aside from the teams not making it to LAN, it's going to be really a big bummer not to get to hang out with whomever doesn't make it. I mean, that's always the best part.
I mean, if you look at it here, Vertical, Flipside, and Elevate, those 3 of the 4 teams here all made it to LAN. They were the top 3 teams out of North America last season. Excellence already said, look, you might have been top 3, but I want to slip on in there. They're one of the top 2 teams now coming out of North America, and Elevate and Flipside are going to have to duke it out for that 3rd spot.
Yeah, and again, we remarked on this earlier, but it was such a surprise, I think, for the community, having Excellence Gaming come out on as strong as they have this season. They just absolutely decimated their way through the group stage. And, you know, I think personally, Excellence has a really good chance in this matchup against Vertical. I think it's almost certainly going to go to the 3rd map, in my opinion. And the polls don't reflect that still. So despite the fact that Excellence went through 3 Titans to get here, they beat out Continuum and Flipside, and then later Elevate to make it into this winner bracket of the playoffs. despite that fact, still it's a 60% in favor of Vertical Gaming. And I think that's, of course, Vertical Gaming being one of those old teams, they got the experience, they got a huge fan base, but at the same time, it's still a case of like, wow, look at what Excellence has shown us. They could win this.
You're exactly right. And I mean, they're going to go up against their fourth Titan tonight. It's going to be Vertical Gaming. And so that's who we're going to get into an interview right now with. Let's hang on over to King George and say hello to him. Hello, King George. How you doing today?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
We're doing fabulous. Thank you for joining us. Now, we talked earlier a little bit about your team and how you've been at LAN before numerous times. What I want you to help describe for us and those at home is, how does a team prepare for LAN? Not trying to skip ahead and say that this matchup tonight means nothing, but you have secured your spot to LAN. And so why don't you tell us and walk us through, how do you prepare yourself for that kind of environment?
Well, the biggest thing is, like, once you know who you're actually going to play, you prepare for the first sim you play, and then you can kind of generally figure out like who's going to win the game for your next game after that and who you might see in the finals. And obviously you prepare for upsets and stuff like that too, but you generally have a good idea of who you're going to play through the bracket. So you'll watch over all that team's VODs, try to counter-shot them, come up with brand new stuff just for LAN for that event. Stuff like that's really important, I think.
Do you kind of delve into the bracket and we'll say make your own predictions as to who you're going to be playing in the semifinals or the finals, and how does that go? Because it's a lot of work, I would assume, to prepare yourself for 7 teams and not necessarily knowing who you're going to go against. So how do you dwindle that down?
I mean, yeah, you can kind of sometimes tell, like, oh, this team, maybe this team, et cetera, et cetera. But for the most part, you have to prepare for upsets and stuff too. They happen all the time. So you just kind of have to prepare for both teams. And maybe there's one team where you like really go over and really counter-shot them, and the other team maybe you do like a more basic version just in case. And then if it comes to be that they make it through the bracket, this way you have an idea. At least you're not going in blind.
Yep. Now, we had talked a little bit about, and I think your team has one of the best chances out of North America to prepare yourselves, is because you're coming up with a gaming house soon, aren't you? We talked previously about it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're moving to Las Vegas in like a few days, actually, like the 26th and 27th. So after this match, we're packing up our PCs pretty much and heading out there. We think that the gaming house will give us the time to, like, obviously you can be in the same place at the same time, stand over someone's shoulder and like go over stuff, sit together, watch a VOD in the same room, talk about stuff. I mean, obviously you can do that online too, but there's a difference of being in person, I think. At least I think it'll help. And just being there all the time together and not having to worry about like really anything besides just, hey, we just got to think about our games that are coming up is going to be nice.
Gotcha. And I don't want to cut you off too soon, but so last question is, who's going to be joining you there? Is it just going to be the 5 players? Are you bringing a coach? Is it multiple people? And other than that, 2 questions. That one, and then as that, why Las Vegas, we'll say?
So just the 5 of us are going to go there as a team, and we picked Las Vegas. They have fiber internet. Most of us are from, besides Eclipse, he's from Texas, but everybody else is from like areas where the winters are really cold. So we wanted to get out of the cold for the winter and stuff too. I mean, good weather, lots of stuff to do there. We got sponsors and stuff, paying for the rent and stuff, but the less that you spend, the more that you can, get back in salary or the org makes and stuff. So the rent and like living expenses are very reasonable in Vegas. So it just was a good choice for us, I think. Good fit.
Sounds like it'll be a heck of a lot of fun. Anything else you want to bring up before we head out today, King?
Just good luck to Excellence. We'll see them at LAN either way. So, and then the game to watch is good luck to Flipside and Elevate as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, King George, for your time. Good luck to your team today.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Gaming house in Las Vegas, going from the very cold winters of the northern parts of the Americas to 110 degrees, middle of the night, Las Vegas. Is that right? Middle of the desert?
If it were me, and it wasn't, but if it were me, I would be going to the cold places. I like the cold. But here's Vertical's roster: King George, Avian, Young, Slashug, and Eclipse. It's going to be... Now, Vertical Gaming has been very strong this season. They've not only had a perfect season so far, but they have been extremely dominant, similar to what we've seen from Excellence Gaming. So I think, this is going to be a matchup to watch, but it's also going to be a case of it's not really going to be like too close in that these teams are going to be putting all their cards on the table because nobody's really going to be showing anything special.
Yeah, I agree with you there. This is going to be very similar to how we saw Penta Sisu last seseason. This is going to be very similar to how we saw Flipside and Vertical Gaming actually last season as well. It was matches where not random, but less common things had to happen, where we saw Coastline come out, we saw Skyscraper make more of an appearance, and we saw these different maps come out, and they were just, let's have fun. We saw Tachanka, we saw Blitz, we saw some other operators that aren't very common in the scene, and that I think might be what we'll see here today between these two teams.
Yeah, just a little bit of a mix-up. And it's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be fun. The great thing about these seed decider matches coming out from each region is they are always fun. There's people always trying to chill out and see what they can mess around with on the other team and just poke some holes.
Yeah, the biggest thing is, I mean, you want to get the win, obviously, but the biggest thing is to not give your hand away or give your card away.
Yeah.
But as we say that, we are going to head into another interview here. It's going to be with Fox A from Excellence Gaming. Fox, how are you doing today?
I'm great, you?
Doing very well, thank you. Now, I had mentioned to you earlier today that I wanted to get to know your team better. I wanted to get to know your players better. I want you to kind of elaborate on sort of the history of some of the players on your team. Where did they come from? How did they get here to Siege? And kind of their history through Siege. So let's walk through that a little bit.
I don't want to leave you shorthanded, but I was talking with the guys, and none of them have, like, background in gaming specifically. They played it casually and fun. Geo was on Xbox, so everyone was playing casually. I was the only one, or well, from what I know, from what they've told me, I'm the only one who had a competitive background in CSGO. I used to play ESEA and went to a couple LANs for that. But aside from that, Gurmy and my man only got into the scene last season, and they've been blowing up ever since. Gio's been dominating the Xbox scene, and Brian's, been on the same path as me to try and, find a team that will make it to the top.
Sounds good. So, I mean, you mentioned you've been to some LAN events. Are you going to be able to help prepare your team for the different setting of being at LAN? You've guaranteed that spot, but now it's time to actually prepare yourself for it.
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest part is getting used to earbuds. And I don't think any LANs I've been to is going to come close to like being on the big stage in front of crowds. So I don't know how to, get them ready for their nerves acting up and being nervous. But, I don't know. We feel pretty confident going into it. And whichever team wins tonight, we think that whichever outcome we end up playing at LAN first, we'll put in a fight.
What do you think it means to be undefeated, going 8-0? If you were to beat Vertical Gaming, against all odds, we'll say, beat that fourth Titan we've been referring to, come out 8-0 for the season, what would that mean to you and the rest of your team?
That'd be crazy, coming from last season, 5th place, brand new team, and then all of a sudden we pick up 2 new players and we're electrifying and just beating everyone. That's the goal, 2-0, but again, I think we scrim VG a lot, so we know it's going to be a close match.
Now, were they your scrim partners at all throughout the season, or is this kind of a first time you guys are meeting each other this season?
No, far from first. We used to scrim each other a lot way back at the beginning of the season, to the point where we scrimmed so much that we were playing specifically to counter each other and not to like practice our own strats. So yeah, eventually, we had to stop because we're playing today. But yeah, before we were for sure scrim partners, and hopefully after we'll be able to get ready for LAN together. So
it sounds like it's going to be quite a showing then, Fox. Is there anything else you'd like to bring up before we head on out today?
Good luck to both teams, and Flipside and Elevate. Can't wait to go to LAN to see who has the better eyebrows between me or Avian. So that's going to be great.
I don't know. I've seen Avians. We'll have to see in person. But but with that, Fox, I do want to thank you for your time. Good luck to your team today, and hopefully we'll see some good stuff today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. There it is. Excellence, showing that they want to get that 8-0. They want to be that top-notch team, but he expects it's going to be an outcome very similar to us, where it's going to get to that third game.
Yeah, and it's going to be close for sure, but here's Excellence Gaming's roster. Fox A, Gurmy, Brian, my man, and Geo. And like We just heard they have been an absolutely electrifying roster to watch throughout this season. Really did show a lot of teams what for. Flipside and Continuum and Elevate all falling to Excellence Gaming, not even making it to a single third map. Completely perfect season for them.
Yeah, that's not something to be understated, we'll say.
Yeah.
That is a big feat. I mean, how many times have we seen Flipside and VG go head-to-head and come out in a third game? How many times have we seen Continuum and VG? I mean, at the Six Invitational, they were in the grand final stage, went to the third map. I mean, how many times do you see a 2-0 against one of these teams?
Well, all that really needs to be said is 2-0 Continuum Excellence, and then 2-1 Flipside when they were matched up against Continuum. So
Yes.
Flipside struggled against Continuum. These guys just kind of shrugged them off.
Yeah.
And that's a huge statement after also beating Flipside as well. So I mean, they've very clearly shown themselves to be one of the best teams. Well, obviously one of the top 2 teams coming out of North America. Now the question is, can they prove themselves to be the best? Because I think there's still, again, we talked about this before. There's still a lot of I think opinion slanted towards VG.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with the 60% poll in favor of VG for winning this match overall, Excellence, you know, is still a little bit of a name that's not.
I mean, I think the same thing kind of occurred back when Season 3, back when Continuum was first making a name for themselves. A lot of teams would have said, hey, Orbit's going to beat them. Orbit's going to be that team that can then overthrow Continuum. Guess what? Continuum came out of the woodworks. They're like, hey, here we are. Excellence has that same similar vibe, I want to say.
What were they called Season 3? They were called Orbit.
Season 3, they were Orbit until they got to LAN, where they were then called Most Wanted.
We were Orgless GG, because I remember I played the first 3 matches of Season 3.
Then I think they got turned into Most Wanted, got to LAN, and it was Era, I think, for the Six Invitational.
Yeah, I think you're right. No.
But nonetheless, that is a brief history of Vertical Gaming. But no, Season 3, we saw Continuum come out of the blue. And they were kind of the underdogs. And I feel like Excellence is filling that position this season.
Yeah, and then, I mean, after that, they won the Invitational. They won Season 3 and then the Invitational as well. So they had a good run of it. Is Excellence Gaming that team, though, to then go and win this season and the next? Now, the question also, just on the note, one big thing for Excellence Gaming that's really going to, I think it will put a lot of pressure on their soldiers. You talked about it in the interview. Is the pressure of going to that LAN event. Excellence Gaming is going to be going to the biggest, I think technically the biggest LAN event in Rainbow Six history, because it's going to be at Gamescom, and
there's a lot of people there.
There's a lot of people there. Now, obviously, it's going to be quite a lot more than we've had at any event so far, I think. So Excellence coming off of having only one person ever at a LAN event, and it wasn't a significant one. You know, they don't have that experience that Vertical has, that Flipside has, that even Elevate has. I mean, you know, there's going to be a team that doesn't have that experience that won't be making it to LAN today, and that's huge.
That is pretty huge. Now, as we talk about these teams, let's move on into the top 5 picked attack operators coming out of the North American scene. Again, these are all pretty standard, but we do see a couple load numbers here on the end of the board. Let's talk about them here.
Hibana, obviously, at that #1 spot. Great guns, 3 speed, flash bangs to win those engagements, and lo and behold, she can also open up reinforced walls. Hibana is just, I mean, what's not to love about her? Come on. Blackbeard, shield in front of face, win all of the engagements. Yes. Ash, same thing basically as Hibana, but she can open up them soft wells. So she's got a lot of versatility there, as well as clearing out that barbed wire. Sledge also good at clearing out those barbed wires with the grenades. Good consistent weaponry in the L85, as well as the SMG-11 to eliminate just basically a free kill with that. And then Thatcher also clearing out those electronics, super essential. Like you talked about, Sledge and Thatcher seeing a lot of rotation here. Now let's take a look at the top 5 defenders out of North America. It's going to be Smoke, Jaeger, Mira, Bandit, and Valkyrie. Smoke, shotgun, site construction. Those gas grenades to hold off a lane for as long as he can. And then also the SMG-11, arguably one of the best secondaries in the game. Free kill, basically. Jaeger, 87.1%. He's going to be that 3-speed with the rifle, the only rifle on defense, as well as catching the grenades with the ADSs, 2 barbed wire, and I mean, you know, again, just to top it all off, the 3-speed. I talked about that earlier. Mira, 70%. She just came in with the last DLC. She's got that one-way information gathering. It's also one of the most indestructible forms of information gathering that the defenders have, as you got those cameras which should be easily just shot or Thatcher grenaded, twished, whatever. A Bandit, 70.5%. Now that's one of the higher ends of the defense side, for Bandit, because in a lot of other regions such as Latin America, he sees quite a lot of rotation. He'll usually be down at the bottom. But you can see here Valkyrie at the bottom at 65%. She's got that information gathering with her cameras, great MPX, high rate of fire, low recoil, good for the headlining, and then also a C4, so she can play that vertical game quite aptly.
Yeah, the vertical game here is something we constantly see a lot of, especially in the pro scene. Like, we talk about, okay, there are some times we talk about some things we see in some ranks, what are the differences between ranked going to Challenger, then all the way up to Pro League. Knowing the map vertically is, I think, one of those things that is definitely you need to understand.
It's the type of thing that totally differentiates from almost every other esport out there, and it's one of the reasons that Siege has the highest, I think probably one of the highest learning curves of any FPS.
I would say so.
It's really high up there, if not the absolute highest, and you know, of course, it does have a lot to do with just straight up the vertical game, the destructibility factor as well, just horizontally.
Yeah. Now, we are going to get underway here with our map picks and our map ban, starting with Vertical Gaming choosing the first ban of the evening, and then Excellence goes on to second ban. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, there are 9 maps in the pool. The bans are going to go back and forth until there's only 3 maps left. After those 3 maps are chosen, one team is going to choose the first map. That's going to be Vertical Gaming chooses the first map to play, Excellence choosing the second. The third and final map will be our decider map, should we get to it. First map that's going to get banned off the board is going to be Cholet, and then Consulate by Excellence. Now, the Cholet ban, we've talked about it before. That used to be Vertical's map, had it not been?
But so did Canal, and they lost Canal in a 5 versus 2 in the
against Playing Ducks. That was
in the invitation. Wait. Was that was season 3?
Season 3 Playing Ducks at LAN.
Yeah, they were in the semifinals and they lost 5 versus 2 in the last map, and they could have gone to the finals, and nope.
That was one of the most hyped games I remember seeing.
Yeah, but Canal's not in the Pro League anymore, and Vertical has changed up the roster quite a lot. So obviously they don't want to go up against Excellence's Cholet. Now these teams both know each other very well, as they have been scrimming throughout this entire season. Since they were in different groups, these have been each other's scrim partners, which stands to reason given how well they performed throughout the season. And I think that these are almost all counter bans. These are likely just like, we don't want to bring the other team to this particular map. So it's going to be Border, it's going to be Oregon, it's going to be Skyscraper. Now,
I like that.
This is interesting. It could also be that these teams are trying not to show their cards, because we talked about this before. This match doesn't mean much. You know, it's an important match for ego and seeing who's the best, but for them and seeding, of course, that is an important factor going into LAN. But overall, it doesn't mean too much. So trying to tuck away your better maps and like just not show the strats that you have on those, or dissuade, you know, take a look. There's going to be obviously the European teams and the Latin American teams who are going to be watching this match, trying to see what's going on with the ban phase. Yep. As well, they're going to be like, okay, we don't want everybody else to know that we like to play on Skyscraper, or like we like to play on Coastline. So we're going to try to avoid playing that map.
Yeah, I mean, when you go and look at VODs, when you go and analyze a team and what maps they've played, what operators they've played, it's almost, you can't just take every series and weight it the same as every other game. Like, for example, this series, the teams from Brazil that are making it to LAN, the teams from Europe, the other teams from North America, they're going to be looking at this game and they'll say, okay, they played these operators on these bomb sites on these maps. Okay, whoop-de-doo. They're going to go back and say, look at last week. Look at the first day of playoffs where they actually had to go all out. That's going to be weighted a little bit higher, and that's going to give a little bit more information than tonight's matches.
Interestingly, neither of these teams have had to actually fight tooth and nail to keep themselves in the Pro League.
Yeah.
Like, they have just cruised through the top of the player, like top of the team lists. They went from their first bracket to the winner's bracket to the playoffs winners bracket, so they've had a good go of it. They haven't had to show necessarily any of their like super special trump cards that they've been saving for a long time, and they're still not going to have to do that.
I don't think they. I mean, we've got Border to start off our game. It's going to be Oregon second map, Skyscraper third map. We're going to get underway with our game right now. The first map of the evening here between Vertical Gaming and Excellence Gaming. Let's head on into the game, see what operators are going to be chosen as we get underway with the first and last playoff day for North America. Or, well, last playoff day, not first one.
This is going to be the last week for overall for this entire playoffs. And after that, we're going to be seeing you guys in about a month at Gamescom Finals, which is going to be great.
Vertical Gaming is going to start out on attack, Excellence on defense. And right off the get-go, we're going to have Frost chosen here by Fox, which, knowing how Fox... I used to play with Fox back in the day, back in beta, early release. He was always a very fast-paced player. Frost doesn't necessarily have that same feeling with her.
I think she does really fit into that fast pace.
You think so? With her low shooting?
Her 9mm is great. It is super good at headlining. 2 armor, 2 speed. I mean, a 2 speed's only 90% as fast as a 3 speed, so you're only losing 10% of that speed, right? I think that...
it's also a very low rate of fire, the weapon, to try and go in a quick engagement.
It's so good for headlining, and also, I don't know why, but it chunks people down, man. It chunks people down. And actually, I think it kills faster than most people can kill you because something about the DPS, I don't know, it's a really good gun. I know it's got low rate of fire, but that is a really good gun. It's seriously underestimated. I think Fox will be fine on Frost.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
But you're right, he is a fast-paced player.
Defender has left the area of operation.
No big surprises in the operator selection apart from that Frost, though. Avian's going to go up on top of this tower outside of spawn and take out my man.
This is that same spot he got on Elevate. Yeah. He got Laxing and Sky. Skies was the if I remember correctly, Skies was the Valkyrie first getting picked off. Laxing was, I think, a Bandit.
He's had a lot of work done from that tower. I mean, Avian just perches himself, puts his talons on top of the bars, and just shoots people who cross between A bomb site and CCTV every single attack round on this top defense. Even on a ventilation defense, people still cross that on defense.
Now I want to talk about this camera here for a moment because you would think, okay, I'm throwing a camera right on the same pole that a standard camera is on. It's going to get shot right away, and that's one of the things that's not happening.
I mean, I think it's being a little bit obscured by the barbed wire. SC4 is going to narrowly miss Eclipse, but it also, this is important, it did notify Eclipse that, oh, they have a camera on me, almost certainly, which means he's going to be playing a little bit safer here.
Yeah, I think you might have seen it. Nope, he does not see it, so Geo and...
that barbed wire, man, I'm telling you.
Geo and Eclipse still going to go head for head here, trying to engage here.
This is a lot of aggression that Excellence are putting out despite being at the man disadvantage early on in the round. There's only half the round left. Eclipse is conscious of Geo playing inside of this front ventilation, and he's just looking for this. Actually, I don't think he knows exactly where Geo is. He's just wondering. He doesn't
know. Eclipse is just wondering, but I like the pressure that Geo's putting on down because that's Buck's home. He gets under there, tries to open up the floor, let go of the half wall, make sure people aren't behind it. Geo's the one holding this down single-handedly without throwing a single bullet out.
Yeah, and he's going to go. It looks like we are going to have the Buck actually rotate because of it. Whoa,
no
aggressive play from King. What is happening here?
Very aggressive here.
How did he get in with almost no... What's going on?
There's no barbed wire at all to stop this push. Brian's going to tag one down on a slash, but not before Fox gets removed here by the R4C.
Excellence is being really aggressive here on this round.
Gurmy has been spotted out behind the lockers. King George is going to lock that down with his line of sight. 40 seconds to go. Eclipse is now moving in forward. No frag grenades at his disposal yet, though. More shots going to come on in. King George spots the head of Brian, takes it on out, and Gurmy will be injured and then finish off here momentarily as Geo tries to rotate back onto site. Last man down, a 1-on-4, and this will go into the hands here of Vertical Gaming. But Geo's got a little bit to say about it. Stops one, downs another, but King George just has that laser accuracy, and that will be the death of Geo.
Nice shot there to King George. Let's see it. Good hold down there. So, well, the early pick from Avian obviously gave VG a little bit of an edge there. But right after that, Excellence still getting very aggressive under the VG attack and ended up losing a couple more men. More importantly, though, no barbed wire like you talked about in through the A wall. But aside from that, aside from the barbed wire, the small office pressure was non-existent. There was neither a reinforcement nor a mirror window nor
soft
holes. They hadn't opened murder holes. They just left the walls there. And that is basically your main avenue to holding that A wall push. So, just some serious mistakes coming out there from Excellence. Now, that might just be them playing it a little bit loose and not really minding too terribly if they win or lose that round. But I get that. I respect that. But at the same time, you know, easy solution to easy problems.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like there should have been people in that west balcony or west area by the half wall because Gio was doing a fabulous job of denying the pressure from underneath.
Yeah,
so you should have had at least someone there.
That's another thing is there was no barbed wire, no mirror window, and then nobody playing bunker or by the A wall. There was nothing to stop someone from just pushing on in, and that's exactly what we saw. King George pushed in, got a 3K. Easy. Now we are going to have VG play very aggressive into CCTV. We've talked about this hold before. Put that mirror window facing towards the main hallway, and that gives you control over the south balcony door as well as the main hallway, and a little bit of pressure onto offices. So it's a multi-purpose mirror window. It gives you tons of control overall for the whole top floor. And then apart from that mirror window, it's so very easy for a defender to maintain control over the west balcony. But it's going to be Excellence seemingly attacking onto the offices. Now, also similar to the CCTV hold here, VG tends to play aggressively into office sandwich, which I believe they are doing right now. Yeah, it's going to be, it looks like Slashug, I think that is, playing with the Spaz 12 inside of this office sandwich. And he's going to be holding out just as long as he can with the support of his teammates coming from Fountain and the B-bomb site. So as you can tell, VG trying to apply a lot of pressure to the entire top floor, really not giving up anything at all for free.
Avian goes for an aggressive peek off the balcony, grabs Gurmy, then gets back inside with a, I think the only health that got taken away was just him falling off the balcony.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazing that he made it out of that with almost no damage. About 5 HP, I'd say, maybe 10. Not going to really change too much in the next engagement he finds himself in. Unfortunate there that Foxay was not able to secure that kill from that run out. You know, he had the detection, he could have put himself in the angle to find it, but he just simply did not. See there, this is what we're talking about. See that run out from Avian? That's why it's so easy for the defenders to hold that west balcony. All they need to do is run around that corner with their mirror window information or camera information and pre-fire where the attackers are going to be. I mean, what can the attackers do? There's no cover. It's basically just, oh, look at me, you've caught me with my pants down. I'm a free kill.
Now, what we are not necessarily seeing here from Excellence is that rooftop pressure with the frag grenades going down on the Slash.
Yeah, they're kind of spread out on this attack. I mean, you can tell they're putting so much pressure downstairs for the roam game, and then they're only just now opening up a wall into office.
There is no roam game. I mean,
yeah,
everyone's on the top floor. You know there's some inside of CCTV. They're in office. I mean, you had Slash easily able to go back from Fountain to Sandwich back to Fountain.
And yet you've got two people from Excellence downstairs hunting down roamers. And yes, there's an Ash. She can open up from below, but she's not doing that right now. Nade's coming up underneath Slashug. That's my man on that buck. Interesting he's trying to nade Slashug from below instead of just simply use his buck to try and disable the position. Slash is going to relocate, though. Avian, meanwhile, another kill. That's going to be onto Gio running out through the main door of the bomb site. Now it's 3 on 5.
Don't hop through the window. Don't hop.
No.
Here comes the nade.
Wait.
By Slash. Oh, no, he hopped on out. Goes for it. Oh, he grabs it.
Good
and then
trade.
the nade comes on out. Oh, that's a Claymore finishing him off. A good trade, as you called it. Eclipse will get that kill down onto Brian, a 1-on-4. And Fox just not able to get it. The pistol kill comes out from Eclipse, and that's going to be round 2 going to Vertical Gaming.
So it just seems they're like a little bit of a mix-up coming out from Excellence. Their attack was seemingly not very well coordinated. You know, they started with some CCTV pressure, and then they pivoted off that CCTV pressure to main floor pressure. And then from that, they didn't hunt down any roamers because they were non-existent. There were no roamers. I mean, we had Avian do some runouts, but aside from that, and then they tried to push her into the offices, and at that point, they'd already lost so many people. There just wasn't enough pressure being applied to VG on their hold, and Slash was allowed to trade himself out where he shouldn't have in his office. Now, it is 2-0 in favor of VG. They seem to be pretty dominant so far in this match. It doesn't seem like Excellence has been able to really consolidate themselves and get a nice coordinated attack or defense down yet. This could be their second attempt for the Armory. Now, last time we saw them completely ignore the A wall, seemingly. They neither put batteries, nor barbed wire, nor mirror window, nor reinforcement on small office, nor did they play anyone in bunker or by A wall. So they were just like, hey, come on in day. And VG took advantage of that and waltzed on in day. So I don't think Excellence is going to make that mistake again.
Hopefully not, but we have seen Actually, we saw it before. I think inside of office, it might have been the Latin American scene. We saw inside of office, they forgot to put barbed wire through the door Fox is about to go through, this hallway here. And we saw someone just rushing, possibly it was an Ash or a Twitch or whatever, just rushed right in and said, hey, office is now mine, killed the guy in Sandwich and just took it over.
I mean,
next time around, we saw the barbed wire down there. So hopefully these teams are going to make adjustments to correct little obstacles like that.
We've been in a barbed wire meta since the beginning of the game. Barbed wire arguably one of the if not the most powerful defender gadget. I mean, you don't really think about it, but it is so... It has such a presence in this game for the defender side and and for both teams, really. And having a piece of barbed wire on a door, which you know the attacker is going to be pressuring from, it just forces the attackers to address that barbed wire with a piece of utility, whether it be a grenade or a Ash charge. At this level of play, if you try to melee a barbed wire that's properly placed, 9 times out of 10, a defender's going to hear that and get the kill as you do it. It's super dangerous. Now, we do have a roam game coming from Excellence. It's going to be Fox A, and I believe that's my man.
Ooh, Eclipse did not spot Fox, though. He just skimmed on through servers.
A little bit too fast there, Eclipse. That's actually that's gonna mean a lot for Fox A. It means he's not gonna be detected. He might be able to get the flank of Eclipse as Eclipse pushes on into server, because you know he's gonna try and use his bucks from underneath, along with Slashhug, who will use his Ash charges. You can see VG, they're going for a CCTV AWOL take yet again. This was previously successful, but as you can tell here, Excellence have actually invested not only utility, but players into holding this AWOL. They've even got holes down in the floor to try and hold it from below.
My man looking like he wants to toss up a C4, sees it, will he go for it?
This would be a good start, but I think Ash might be on a table.
I think he is. He might be, but that's not going to stop my man from trying to go for the shots down.
Yeah, I believe Slashhug is on top of a table, so that's not going to be... My man can neither get the shots nor the C4.
Stop outsmarting the Pulse there, Slash.
Yeah, that's a really good positioning there from Slash.
Oh, no, but the bullets are still going through. You can see him there.
So it looks like he might have just hit the foot of Slashhug. It's a nice aimed shot. Gio's going to get the first kill of the round. This could be onto Avian. That's the Hibana. That's all of VG's breach potential. However, Hibana's already done her job for the most part. She's opened up this mirror window. Super important. She's also opened up a line of sight onto Bunker. So the attackers are going to be very comfortable having lost their Hibana, despite that fact.
Now, it looks like the pressure is going to come in from the west balcony. Flashbang's going to go in, and it looks as though we will have a blind Gio. But that's okay. He's tucked around behind the wall. King George again going to go for the peek around by half wall. Moving in forward. Now, I don't quite know if Gio realizes he's inside. I think he does, but he's going to look to the left. There's the shield getting broken up, and he cannot get tagged down. Gio will be removed by Young. That's going to be my man picking up a kill, and Young slashing on down another kill here as he takes out Gurmy with a headshot. Now, a 2-on-2. You got Slash and Young, last two alive. Fox trying to rotate back on his sight.
Here comes the C4.
Slash comes on in. Young gets taken down, but the plant goes down successfully. Slash needs to hop on out. I thought he might have gotten injured hopping off the balcony, but no, he's got about 10 health left to go.
We're going to see a stick. He's going to stick it.
He will stick it here. Slash, can he get back in time? It's going to be Ash. He doesn't realize it. He's slashing it one last hit, and that's going to be game. No, that's going to be the round, and Excellence comes out on top. Round number 3 goes to the hands of Excellence. It's now 2-1.
Pros don't fake, Slash. You gotta be on top of it. Pros don't fake. That's unfortunate that Slash took a little bit too much time there to apply the pressure to the main window.
I mean, it was either repel up onto the balcony,
right,
or repel up onto the balcony and then repel into it and expose yourself and die.
Yeah, no, repelling onto the balcony would have been a mistake, but you know, he could have obviously opened up that window when he got onto the van, and then he would have seen the Valkyrie as he vaulted up into the north balcony, and you know, he could have killed it. I said it doesn't matter. I mean, that's gonna be the first round loss there for VG. Now, it was a nice try. I like their collapse there onto the bomb site, and the fact that they forced it out to just being 2-on-2, and the last 2 were roaming. You could imagine, though, if they had applied that pressure to the roam game, maybe they could have actually just come out on top through and through. I mean, we've seen so many examples previously in this season of teams on border, especially, collapsing on that first floor roam game, eliminating them, getting them right off the board early on, and then they are in such an advantageous position from them there forward that they just take it to the bomb site is easy peasy. Now,
every single wall inside of the southeast corner of the servers has been reinforced. All 8 walls. That's a lot of reinforcements to utilize.
Yeah, I mean, normally we don't see that, and the reason we don't see that is because most teams tend to want to invest a lot of that reinforcement up here in the top floor. But in this instance, VG has done, well, not that. They've invested simply, I believe, 2 reinforcements upstairs. Those are likely going to be utilized for these mirror window placements. You can see one here where Avian's going to be playing for that run out that we talked about earlier. Wonder where the other one is.
Not quite sure. It has been placed down. We'll have to see exactly. There it is.
Oh, look at that. That's okay. So that's the 10th reinforcement. It's gonna be on the B bomb site. Like the way that VG's covering all their bases here. I also like that they're not investing so many reinforcements upstairs, because most teams, when they do that full stack upstairs, and we do have VG doing a pretty significant amount of pressure on the top floor with their player count. Usually they fall off within 30 seconds, maybe a minute, right? They do their best to hold, but they fall off inevitably. And Slashug is going to be one of those. I think Roamer's actually upstairs getting kicked off early on.
Oh, Brian might be spotted inside of the bathroom right above him. It looks like it's going to be...
I think it's teammate.
Oh, it is Gio?
Yeah, as you can see here, Excellence, they've taken control over the top floor there, and in terms of offices, and I think they might actually have some pressure into archives.
Gotcha.
And that's allowing the rest of the attackers to push in through this tellers and bathroom.
My man tags the head there of Young, getting the second kill of the round. Slash was already killed off. A 5-on-3 now. King George has gotten back on the site through the drop hatch. He's going to try to poke a kill in through the wall, and Brian's going to look to try to counter that and put some pressure back on himself. Goes for the peek. Couple more bullets might go find his way. My man's going to spot him out there with a drone. Eclipse picks off the head of Fox. That's another frag down. A 4-on-3.
Ooh, King George narrowly avoiding death there. He's still got 2 people to deal with from this bathroom, though. Very dangerous engagement to be handling.
A nade from my man. It's going to go right over the side of the server stack, and that will injure him.
Well aimed nade.
Wonderful time, wonderful aim. Eclipse is going to try to move in forward. Almost gets the head of my man. He has it back on out of there. Leave King George for the Vultures. We have my man now moving in. He knows that, hey, I haven't seen him peek for a while. He's got to be injured. Tags one down.
What a shot.
Grabs the other one next to him. He's injured. Even going to try to swing back through the west stairs. Gets seen, gets spotted, and gets taken down. My man picking up a 3 kill to finish off the round.
Great job to him, man. There. Love that name. That nade. That was perfectly timed, perfectly aimed to take out King George. Being conscious of the position that is almost certainly going to be played there if anyone's holding in the site.
That recoil on Buck's assault rifle makes me cringe sometimes. Seeing that, I don't know how people control it.
It was great to watch my man try or attempt to control it. I mean, he does a pretty good job of it.
He does. I just don't know how he does it.
Right. I mean, it just takes practice. You know, the real problem with Buck's AR's recoil isn't how insanely high it is, how much recoil it is. Yeah, that is an issue, right? But you can learn to control it. The issue with Buck's AR recoil is because you come off of that recoil on going on to any other gun in the game, seemingly, and you're like, oh, now I have to, I'm overcompensating,
Yeah.
I'm pulling down way too much. So it makes Buck a lot harder to mainline because you have to keep pivoting off of it over and over again. So that round was really well done to my man there. You can see he's doing great things for his team. And we are at a 2-2 scoreline, but if you take a look at that scoreboard again, you can see here that VG very clearly have across the board, look at them, 2 kills to 3 kills between them. Meanwhile, Excellence, they've got 3 guys with 1 kill. I mean, this is just VG really putting together a lot of coordination. Now, Excellence Gaming having won their defense of the top floor. They're going to be defending ventilation now. Now, this is the first time they've gone downstairs into the ventilation hold, and it's looking like a very similar setup to VG with some slight differences. A little bit reinforcements moved, no Mira, instead opting to bring a castle, and a couple of slight alterations to the VG hold. And that's actually, I think, what we've been seeing overall throughout this match, whether it be in a hold or an attack, is just slight variation between these 2 squads. And we talked about it before when before the match started, how both of these teams are scrim partners or were scrim partners previously in the season. They're probably scrimming actually right now. I mean, again,
this is probably a scrim for them.
Well, in essence, yeah, but I mean, as soon as both of them qualified for LAN in the playoffs, they probably went right back to scrimming because they're like, hey, we're gonna play each other in we're gonna play each other to find out what our seeding is, but whatever. And we need to practice, we need to get ready. So I'm sure this is essentially just a scrim. These are very friendly teams. Fox is going to be challenging onto Avian, who's trying to push into these offices. And you can see, this is the same exact attack.
Oh, Fox has fallen off of the shelving unit down the hole.
A little bit
He'll
of
have to get picked back up there by Brian, though.
Yeah, you can't fall that far, man. That's gonna take a lot of HP off of the Excellent side. But you can see here, VG's attack is essentially the same thing that Excellence just executed in the previous round. Take control of offices, take control of archives, then you have the vertical control over all the way up to bathrooms. And then from bathrooms, you can open up the wall into the bomb site and start applying that pressure to the anchors. And I really do, like, you could tell the similarities between these two squads.
Now, it looks as though we may have had everyone from Excellence vacate the premise on the top floor. They've all gone through the drop heights, they're back downstairs, and now they're trying to stop this push-in from Tellers, which is the Aven and King George trying to execute. We still have Eclipse. He's up here inside of the fountain looking for the crossover, for the push from Brian, or possibly any member from Excellence, moving back over towards the south end of the map. As we finish off here, there are 50 seconds left to go. Still a 5-on-5. Fox trying to come on through a hole. Avian doesn't see him, and that's going to allow Fox to move. Oh, he might be seen here. Flashbang's going to come out. Avian goes for a duck shot and moves on over. Takes off the head of Fox. That's going to be the first frag of the round. A 4-on-3 now. Looks like another one might come on out of the woodwork, but no, my man says sit down. And now he comes on up, getting the kill. A 4-4 now. There are 30 seconds left to go. Splash and Geo going to go head-to-head. That's going to be one head taken out. Now a 3-5. Eclipse still trying to come in through the drop hedge. As he dropped, Brian picks up the kill with the SMG-11. King George swacking on over with the shots from Blackbeard's weapon to take off Gurmy. A 3-on-2. King George and Young, last two alive here for VG. Looks like Flashbang's going to force Brian to sit tight for a few moments as he comes onto the hole. Geo looks from above, picks up that vertical game. Last man alive is going to be Young, but he gets taken out of commission here by my man to finish off round 5 in favor of Excellence.
So what happened there for VG, they had control, they had the positioning, they just got a little bit confused. Honestly, they got a little bit confused on what their attack was supposed to be there. They forfeited control over offices and archives, and their push in through the main tellers and bathroom just stalled out. It was completely stalled out. It started to get picked off one by one by the Excellence defense, and they all spread out, started to do their own thing, and it just, basically, like I said, attack stalled out. They started to falter, and that was really the end of the round there for VG. Now, for the first time in this map and match overall, Excellence have their lead, 3-2. Now, those first two rounds for Vertical Gaming seemed extremely dominant, and it's taken a turn for the worse here for Vertical. Excellence stepping way up.
Now, I mean, seeing this scoreboard and seeing that for Excellence, you've got a member that has 6 kills, a member that has 7, that's my man and Geo. To me, if I'm Vertical Gaming, I need to step it up and say, look, these are the two guys we need to take out, and then we'll have an easier time trying to win these rounds. Because right now, those are the two players that are quote-unquote carrying the rest of Excellence.
Yeah, arguably, absolutely. Arguably, you're right. But also, you got to keep in mind for the first 2 rounds, VG basically shut everybody down from the Excellence side, and since then it's been 3 rounds in a row for Excellence, and just because all the kills are on those 2 guys doesn't necessarily mean they're the only ones putting in work. And also, I'd say if those 2 guys do get taken out, I don't think they're necessarily going to shut down Excellence overall. I think that somebody else will step up because, it's just been 2 rounds of losses, and then Excellence have been winning landslide for these last 3. It could just be a case where the other guys on the team, those other 3 Excellence players, just haven't had an opportunity to get too many kills. And not trying to force it out or anything is the right way to play as well. So playing it nice and slow here, Excellence are going to be taking onto the offices. They have control over those east stairs and then open up this main office wall. Slashug is playing with the MPX now instead of the Spaz, and he will be going for these long angles. I love this mix-up. It's catching Excellence a little bit off guard, but no, too aggressive there onto my man. Med will hit the shot. So Slashug did manage to light up my man, but that is a huge mistake.
He's going to go fall off, get picked back up. There's plenty of time here, although it will waste like 20, 30 seconds because they're going to have to get the rappel and pick him up.
It's the right call, let's be honest.
It is.
Now, I do think here that was a really big mistake there from Slashug, and that's going to put Vertical Gaming now, they've lost a lot of pressure. Office's control is completely forfeit to Excellence, despite the fact that they're getting slowed down because of that reset. They still have the control. And Gurmy now is going to pick off Avian, as Avian attempts to rotate to assist this hold. And now it's all kind of just falling apart here for VG. Slashug needed to waste at least another 30 seconds there inside of Office Sandwich.
Slash did have a great idea. He had the right opportunity. The plan's going to go down here momentarily inside of the archive. King George going to toss out a C4. Tags the kill there onto Brian, stopping that plan. There's gonna be a gas grenade that comes out. Young gonna get blinded out by yet again another flashbang. Fox realizing, hey, I can actually set this down. I think he's got a lunchbox in his way. There he goes.
He will get it. There we go.
He will set it down. And we will have King George again trying to put some pressure onto Gurmy. He will be injured and then taken out, but it looks like a trade comes on out. Fox gonna fall off the ledge and get injured. It's all here up to Gio, and I don't think they realize it just yet. And it looks as though they're gonna go ahead and pick up King George. You also have Young who's here. The last man alive is gonna be Gio. He comes on swinging, tags one. Can he tag another? Young's got 1 bullet health left to go. He's gonna look for a flashbang, moves on in. Gio looking to get the shots down to Young. Can he do it? Tosses out another flashbang, gets one. Can he get another? No, the defender's gonna get it. Gio, he gets the 1 kill, but cannot get it in time. That's gonna be Eclipse tagging down the diffuser at 3-3 now.
What an attempt from Gio. Very potentially could have been a clutch, but it wasn't okay.
A little bit too much time with a flashbang.
Yeah.
That was just a little bit too much time.
Okay, some people are going to be saying, oh, he flashbanged himself, and that's why he lost. No, honestly, the reason he lost that is because he pulled the pin for the flashbang in the first place.
Yep.
The flash neither assisted nor was the detriment. It was just him taking the time to throw it. If he had simply rushed in, pre-fired the corner, he would have won flat out. Both Young and the diffusing player, or the disabling player, they were lined up. He just sprays the corner, he wins. So it was a nice try there from Gio, but I think he got a little bit ahead of, or I think he was taking the other guys a little bit too seriously there. He really just needed to go for the pre-fire.
Now back to the conversation with Slash and how he had kind of been we'll call it over aggressive. That play wasn't necessarily.
It wasn't the wrong one. It was just he missed the shot.
He pulled off too soon. He thought he got the kill there onto Buck, wanted to not overexpose himself, so he went back and realized, oh crap, I didn't get Buck down all the way, so he went to re-peek again, and that's what cost him.
Well, whatever the case be, I mean, it was just he just missed it. I mean, he missed the shot through and through. He missed the shot. If he had hit the shot, yeah, it would have been great. He would have got a kill. But you know, again, the job there is to waste the time. You know, and the fact that he didn't really put his team in a slightly worse position, which, you know, they ended up winning from regardless, which was great job to BG there. Honestly, it looked like, by the way, on that note, a round overall, Excellence had that round. They did have that round.
Yep.
Just a couple mistakes like right next to each other, and it suddenly slipped away from them. Also, a great retake there from VG. You saw that coordination between King George and Young peeking onto the Blackbeard. That should have been the sort of thing where Blackbeard just wins one engagement, then he wins another engagement. Because of that coordination, though, from VG, that wasn't allowed to happen. And that's what you got to do against the Blackbeard.
Yeah, I think
you know he's going to hold that angle.
I think it was Fox that had fallen off the balcony, tried vaulting over.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, little opportunities that are missed, and hopefully they won't occur again, or else that might spell doom here for Excellence.
I mean, we're seeing what we expect to see in this match overall, by the way. 3-3. It's been a total back and forth fest, and it's been coming down to the last straw in every single one of these rounds, seems like. Foxy is going to try and active bandit, and he will be
he'll get the second one. He'll get the second set because they realize VG what they're doing. They're going to put a first one down, set it off, then tag a second one down.
Yeah, it means there's only one set of Habana charges left on Avian, and he's got to use that for the mirror window. I don't think he's going to, though. He's going to go straight for the main wall. That means the mirror window will not be opened up. It's a very dangerous play there from VG. Not being able to open up that mirror window is going to slow this down. However, Slashhawk from below will be able to open up the mirror window himself. That's great. See, that's what you need to happen.
Now my man's going to go out for a peek here, potentially from the middle passport room. He's looking on over towards the center office and then gets picked off by Slash. What a shot. I want to say there was a one tap, but he's down 7 bullets in his weapons. If he's going to go peek on upstairs, looks for the shots down there onto Brian and onto Gio.
This is great pressure that Slashhawk is applying right now to the main site, just aside from, of course, the roam clear. That's put his team in a really great position.
Ooh, looks like a nade will force Gurmy out of position, and that will be it for him. King George smacking down another kill there on a Fox, potentially. No, Slash picks it up from underneath. And now we have Gio inside a fountain. He's going to hop back onto his yokai drone. Brian's going to try to stop the defuse plant with a gas grenade. And again, more shots coming down from Slash from underneath. Last one alive is going to be Brian. They know he's in here. 5-on-1. VG wins this round, and they have gone up to match point now, 4-3.
So VG's take there really just mostly came down to Slashug's work from below. Great job to Slashug, opening up that mirror window, and more importantly, clearing out that roamer, denying the C4 from below. That was huge. And because he opened up that mirror window, all VG really needed to do was just push on into the bomb site together as a team, all 4 of them. And that's exactly what happened. They won their fights, and simple as. Ventilation room workshop now going to be VG's defense as they were successful in that armory hold. And there's a match point here. If they're able to successfully defend this ventilation, we'll move on to map number 2. Or we can get overtime here if Excellence managed to push it forward. Now, VG was unsuccessful previously when holding this bomb site. And it was a take from Excellence straight in through the bathroom as well into a bomb site, as well as taking control of that offices and archives. Now, I'm sure VG is going to be expecting that same attack again. I wonder if Excellence is going to provide that same attack.
I think VG, I mean, they're changing it up a bit. King George is going to hop on Castle instead of Mira.
Yeah.
And last time we saw the Mira placements, there was one inside of A facing B and another one on the west wall facing the balcony. This time, though, they're holding things a little bit differently.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, a little bit of a mix-up. It seems like that a lot of their focus is going on to that denying the teller stake, and that's what Excellence took the. Again, that's what Excellence did the first time. VG's got to be expecting that. So it really comes down to Excellence. Are they going to mix things up? Are they going to read into this counter and go somewhere else, or will they fall into the trap? More importantly, I guess, is if they fall into that trap, are they going to be able to fight their way out of it? Because we've seen some pretty spectacular traps set up so far in this match, and we have seen the team who has been supposedly trapped fight their way out of it. So anything's possible.
Now, Avian is tagging along here inside of the offices. Tags off one. Drone looks on through the hole. It's been opened up. It's going to be as aggressive as Slash, and now he's just holding on to another drone. He's going to come on out.
He's already taken out 2 drones. He's going to get a third. Oh, maybe not, as Geo manages to get his drone by Avian. Now, that each drone is very important, of course. It gives a lot of information. But Avian going to take out Fox 8, trading it back for Slashug. So Slashug's up the board for this roam game early on, which means that Avian had to fall off of the offices. Oh, this
it's going to be aggressive.
Whoa!
Oh, he tags down the headshot on a man. What a shot. Gia's going to be inside a fountain to get the refrag. And that's going to be a 3-3 now. Still over half the round to go. Castle by King George will then remove Geo. That's a picked up kill. Nice frag.
So despite Slashug unfortunately not getting much done in his roam game upstairs, Avian basically got 3 kills. He only got 2, but he lit that Thatcher up to like 1 HP, which allowed King George for an easy refrag. So now VG in a very comfortable position because of Avian's fantastic roam game.
Now Gurmy's going to look in towards inspection, which is where Eclipse is sitting. He might tag him off here, right on top of the conveyor belts where Eclipse is going to be standing. Gurmy moving slow as a worm over here. Goes for the shots and actually just takes off his hip. That's going to be a refrag down 2-2 here. Young is going to sit inside of the bathroom with a shotgun in hand. I believe they have opened up the castle barricade, but it doesn't look like they're going to flow that way. Gurmy's going to be at the bottom of west stairs. King George has that upper angle down onto him. Once he sees that barbed wire, you're going to see him go right to the corner, possibly go for a pre-fire drop shot. Brian is outside of that west doorway.
A bomb has been located.
So you can tell here VG's conscious of this B-bomb site attack, and because Castle's from above, he might be able to apply the vertical pressure to deny this defuse plan.
Ooh, he sees it, goes for the shots and hits him on down to about 5 health. Brian is unfortunately not going to walk away from that one. Young coming in hard with a shotgun kill, takes him on out. Last man alive is going to be Gurmy. He's inside of inspection, moving down to the bottom of the west stairs. 20 seconds to go. And it looks as though Young going to whip out that SMG-11. Flashbang's going to come on in. Gurmy now moves in forward. Above him is still going to be King George.
Bomb located by attacker.
He has to go on through that gas grenade. Another flashbang comes in through. Young dodges it, moves in forward. There goes the Deagle shots down onto him. He's going to try to get this planted, and from above, King George will rain down the bullets, and we are going to see Vertical Gaming secure map number 1 in a 5-3 fashion. And that's going to be not an undefeated season so far for Excellence. Vertical Gaming still trying to secure that 2-0 victory.
And they could very well do it. Good performance here on border for Vertical Gaming. They won some rounds they really shouldn't have. Most notably that last armory defense. Wow, that was a great comeback. A couple mistakes here and there from Excellence, and I think it just came down to Vertical not making the same amount of mistakes. I think I saw, if I were to reference one big mistake for Vertical Gaming in that match, it was just the Slashug push too aggressively in offices, and apart from that, pretty much almost flawless. Like they were really on top of the game today.
They did very well.
What happened in the last game was, and let's take a look at some of the highlights while we talk about it. What happened in that last round, actually, excuse me, was basically Vertical Gaming. Avian specifically stopped that roam push or on the top floor from Excellence, so they had to come off of that Teller's attack through the bathroom. Because if you don't have vertical control, you can't execute that attack. Too many holes from above, too risky. And they started to mix things up, go for a B attack, and basically at that point, I mean, Vertical still has that vertical control. Yeah. So they're going to deny the defuse plant even in B. And exactly that happened.
Now that was my man's 3K we just witnessed there inside of the servers. And my man and Geo doing a lot of work for Excellence, just not able to pull it all the way through. Good C4 from King George here. And
this is the round.
This is Geo's attempt at trying to get that 3K to finish off the round. The first flashbang, not the best position. Second one is kind of what did it in for him. Two flashbangs, a little bit too much.
It wasn't really about the fact that he flashed himself. It was that he took the time to throw. But what a shot from Avian, by the way. This was his 3K, really pushing it forward for his team. It was about the fact that he took the time to pull the pin for those flashbangs. In a lot of other games, grenades are like throw, and then you're right back into it. In this game, it's pull the pin and then throw it. It takes some time. You know, you have to actually work up the set up that nade and get ready, put yourself in a great position, and you have to go through the motions, right? And it took a little bit too much time. He could have clutched that out if he just went for it.
Yeah, I feel like one flashbang would have done the trick had it gone through the doorway into the back.
He didn't even, arguably, he didn't even need to throw the flashbang.
But at the same time, he didn't know how much health the other guys had. If it was two full operators...
Partially true. I mean, we saw, obviously, the Blackbeard's probably like, oh, smoke's lit, but... It doesn't matter. It was a nice try.
Game went in hands of VG. We're going to get underway with our second map. Let's head on in. It's going to be here on Oregon. We're going to have Excellence start off on attack, VG on defense. We are going to head to, I believe it was the top floor.
Yeah. Locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
First stop here from VG is going to be that top floor. No surprises. Now, teams don't really... There's a little bit of a mixed match of preference between the basement and the top floor, but I don't think it really terribly matters. But most teams are perfectly capable of defending both equally.
Now this is, I'll call it a little bit of a different reinforcement for what I'm used to seeing on a top floor hold, is a lot of holding. It looks as though with this reinforcement, they're planning on holding the meeting hall, which typically we've seen the meeting hall just be utilized for a quote-unquote kite game from Kitchen going all the way back to Red Tower.
Well, on the note of that kite game, I think that, that those reinforcements are going to allow you to do that kite. You know, it's going to, if you're worried about pressure from the tower, that's going to alleviate a little bit, you know. Just in case somebody waltzes into the tower and melees a hole in that wall, they won't have a one-way angle, well, not an actual one-way angle, but they won't have an advantageous angle to work with anymore. And I think, yeah, no, I mean, when we're talking about the top floor, there's not a lot to reinforce overall. There's usually excess reinforcements for the defenders, so may as well reinforce in meeting hall and attic if you're going to be trying to go for a kite out of the kitchen. And I think that makes sense for VG. They don't have any no, they have one roamer down in the kitchen. It's going to be King George. Ooh,
so that's going to use the C4 there. That's going to be used to possibly kill off anyone who's trying to hit the castle barricade.
Didn't happen, though. Interesting they use the C4 instead of just bringing King George upstairs with an impact grenade ready to burst onto the Excellence attack.
Fox going to toss in one flashbang here and potentially rush in.
Slash is playing very aggressive and dangerously here. He did equally trade his HP with the Thatcher there, but honestly, overall, all it really did was spook Excellence.
We're going to have Fox try to open up some more of this wall, go for a shot. It looks as though Gurmy taking Blackbeard's gun and taking out King George. Eclipse will get the refrag on a Fox.
Great run out there from Eclipse.
Gastonade comes out from Young. He's in the back stairways, hallway. Now we are seeing that Red Tower pressure a little bit. They mainly just want to make sure that there's not going to be a flank or some windows being opened up. Brian tried to clear out some of the attic, which it looks like that was successful.
You can see Eclipse is rotated downstairs. Meanwhile, a Slash is going to take out Geo. That's just through that little angle there, that pixel angle onto the south side of the main west window. Gio was playing just a little bit too aggressively on this main west window. Usually you're going to leave that out to your Blackbeard to get done, and now Gurmy, as you can tell, has taken up that position. Eclipse being allowed into this tower is going to give him a flank opportunity if it should ever be called out that someone's repelling on those B windows, which is very dangerous for Excellence. Excellence is not in a good spot right now. Oh, he actually rotated off the tower. Interesting.
He did. He's underneath inside of the kitchen right now. My man's already looking for it. Season goes for a couple shots, tags him in the shoulder blade, forces him out and over towards Classroom.
Excellence is going a little bit too slow on this attack. They have the man disadvantage, and more importantly, there's only 30 seconds to go. Looks like their attack might just be through that main west window.
Yeah, now Gurmy's going to be gassed out of that window. Slash is going to move in forward. It looks as though he'll sneak his way here right under the windowsill. With
Dangerous.
15 seconds left to go, you're going to see Slash most likely go for a knife here onto Blackbeard as Gurmy hops on into the window, and he will get knifed right there in the booty. Now a 1-on-2. Last man alive is Slash. He needs to stay alive. Brian's actually moved his way into the middle dorms. Gurmy's repelled on inside, and he goes tags on one down. Can he take it out? The Deagle shot from Gurmy, though. That will tag down Slash. Excellence is going to secure round number 1 here in Oregon.
No friggin' way. What a shot here from Gurmy to bring his team back into that round. Whoa! So that fell apart from VG real quick.
Yeah,
Slashdog almost managed to bring it back. But I really love the initiative there from Gurmy, whipping out the Deagle, going for that quick rush. And usually you'll just see a Blackbeard kind of stall out in that situation and just not make it to the fight soon enough.
He didn't have the diffuser. I mean, there was nothing else he could do.
Right, no. What I'm saying is normally a Blackbeard will just try to either A, take off their shield, or B, rush with the shield,
yeah.
and they'll just not make it in time. So good play there for Gurmy. Going Deagle to Deagle and coming out on top. Love that.
You got to think about it, that if Slash was not as aggressive at the very beginning to get down to 30 health, it would have been more than one Deagle shot, and that could have been the end of the round and in his favor.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier is, the aggression not necessary from Slashdog. And in this instance, it actually did technically, that little action there from Slash lost them the round. Can you believe that? It all comes back to peeking out early onto a Thatcher and losing all that HP. Now it's going to be a top floor defense from Excellence as well. They are actually going to be bringing a mirror instead of a castle. I like that they're using these mirror windows upstairs. It isn't absolutely necessary, of course, but the castle didn't really do much for Vertical Gaming in the last round. So I think that bringing the mirror window is probably going to be a little bit of a better preference there.
We are having a lot of soft wall destructibility brought onto the attacking side of VG, bringing the Buck and the Sledge together.
Yeah, which is good that there's no castle very clearly here.
Whoa, some shot. Oh, a very aggressive Fox. That's what we're used to seeing from Fox playing the Jaeger. He hops on outside onto that north balcony, I think west balcony, and sees the head there of Eclipse and tags it down. That's one of the primary soft wall breachers gone.
So that's a great start. Excellence has got to be feeling pretty comfortable after that. Maybe Oregon is Excellence's map. And you can tell a lot of the similarities between these teams. There's just some slight adjustments that each of them make. Of course, we're seeing the Mira played here instead of the castle. But apart from that, this setup is almost identical. It is really cool to see. And it is obvious that these two squads are scrim partners as their meta has developed very similarly. This attack from VG, on that note, however, is completely different from what we saw from Excellence.
The man's going to get flashed on out, and it looks as though it does not go off, and the Hibana charges will get destroyed. Young's going to spot him on out. Shots will go down. King George will fall. My man's going to try to pick up another kill here as Slash comes on into the bathroom. He now is going to have to navigate on outside. Goes for the kite game. Backs on out into the meeting hall as Slash looks on up. Tags a couple shots there on the Fox. And it looks as though Excellence will be out on top with a 3-5 man count in favor of Excellence.
So you can see Bandit there. He could have held that mirror window for another 30 seconds. He could have even gotten a couple more kills, but he very wisely fell off the angle because look at that, 5 versus 3. We don't need to fight this. Plus, VG
they don't even know it's clear yet.
Yeah, exactly. VG now, they don't know it's clear. They have to spend so much time slowly inching their way here, and my man, as you can tell, has moved his way into Classroom. So that's going to give my man a great position here onto Avian. If Avian tries to push into the lobby, he will be caught off guard.
Now, you have Young with Diffuser inside of Dining. Avian's going to back on up into Kitchen Hallway, and I believe that was Slash was inside a bathroom, possibly hopped on out towards, there he is, hopped on out to South Windows. This right now spells doom for VG. There's 40 seconds left to go. They're going to try to go for a master bedroom push, I think.
Yeah, they don't really have any actual way to attack this bomb site. And you can see here, Geo covering all his bases.
Great camera, though. That just spotted out all of the south of Oregon. They know that another one's going to be on outside, and they've got Armory, they've got Master Bedroom, they've got Kids Dorms, they've got Middle Dorms, all taking control. Avian goes to push on up, goes for a shot into the Middle Dorms, gets taken out by Brian. My man getting that shot down onto Young. And that is a flawless round, I think, for Excellence.
Yeah, great defense there. The VG attack had they had 0 options going towards the latter end of that round after they lost those first 2 players. Just not enough man advantage to make any push really happen. So it kind of just became a wait till the round's over sort of deal. Now, 2-0, favor of VG. Or sorry, in favor of Excellence. Now, the thing to note here is that we did have VG start themselves off with a 2-0 lead on Border just prior. And then Excellence started there. They got 3 rounds in a row. Now, of course, those were the only 3 rounds that Excellence got that whole map, but it's entirely possible VG could start their comeback right here. We've seen some pretty great comebacks from VG.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
Now, bomb
by
site will go back upstairs as VG was unsuccessful their first time trying to hold it. And we saw it last time when Excellence was attacking. We saw Capital come out. And typically, we'll see Capital on the basement hold when we know that there's going to be a Mira. We haven't seen a Mira yet on Oregon. I'm trying to figure out, is the Capital just a pick of in case they go downstairs? Or is it intended for this top floor?
We haven't seen a Mira from VG yet, but I think the Capital pick is straight up just because they might expect VG to rotate down into the basement instead of trying to hold the top floor again. I mean, we've talked about it before, the rotation factor for, hey, we lose a round on this floor, let's just go somewhere else. Let's not try and force this out. I think Excellence is just reading into it, saying, hey, you know, if they do, then they do, and we don't have to worry about it. Plus, I mean, my man did bring the Capital last time.
Correct.
So, you know, I think it's just Excellence is like, okay, Capital and Oregon, that's the strat. And let's make sure we have everything covered, you know, all our bases covered and not try to risk anything.
Now that we thought about it, I mean, we have seen it picked on this top floor, especially to try to get someone out of the north windows between the 2 windows. Inside of Kids Dorms. We've seen that. There's the C4. That's what they were trying to do before. Pre-placed possibly there by Slash to get his kill.
Certainly worked that time.
It did this time. Now he doesn't need to be over-aggressive. That's 1 member off the board. That's actually IQ, which means most of the Valk cams are going to be safe for the time being.
Well, the one that Slashrock just threw is going to get shot. Let's be real. I mean, it's on the floor. It's, like
it's right
Geo
there.
can see it right now.
I don't think Geo actually cares about it at the moment.
Yeah, well, I don't think he actually saw it, but it was in his peripheral at least. Whoa! There's the aggressive run out from Slash, using his Valkyrie cam to take the kill on a Geo.
I don't think he'll see it now either.
This great play from Slashrock onto this main west window to the A bomb side is going to put them now, and VG that is, in a 5-3. Good solid man advantage here started out, and this is the same way that Excellence won the previous defense round.
Just hopping out of the big west window.
Yep. Well, not necessarily. I mean, it's just that aggression, really, between these 2 teams. That's what's allowing aggression, man advantage early, and then you just hold. You just wait, you hold. And
I think it's a little ironic. We just saw, I think it was Brian, used those at Bonnet tries to open up the castle barricade, which had 1 hit on it. They just 11 hit that. I think that was going to be Avian that did it.
All that work all for naught.
Oh, my man tries to get up to the ladder of Attic King George is right there to knock his head down. Last 2 alive going to be Gurmy and Brian. Still over a third of the round. Brian is now very skeptical about trying to go up there.
Yeah, the only way for Brian to apply any pressure to that King George castle is to come up the ladder or rotate all the way outside, and he doesn't really have a lot of time here. 59 seconds. He's got to make a move now. Yeah,
unfortunately, there's not much Excellence can do to salvage this round. We are going to see Brian head on over to the dining hall, and
just kind of a case here for Excellence of just wait until the round's over, try to get a couple kills on the board, you know, pad those KDs a little bit. The comeback here is possible, but it would be very, very difficult, especially with only 30 seconds left. That's barely enough time to
Slash is going to get another knife kill here onto the butt of Brian, most likely. No, he's going to be over-aggressive, goes for the peek, and gets taken down.
Yeah, I'm sure that one of his teammates are going to get that refrag, though.
Yep. 10 health left on Brian. He's going to try to hop into the window. Eclipse peeks on out. Gurmy then will get sideswiped here by Young. I think that was from the white stairs.
Top of white stairs, yeah, it was a nice angle. Look at this, between the dresser wall.
Look at that little sliver.
And the little leg there of the bunk bed. that means that there's almost no possibility for the Blackbeard to get the shot back. You're not going to hit that shot. It'd be very difficult to adjust in the middle of a fight to that. And that's just, you know, reading into the fact, hey, I'm challenging a Blackbeard. I can't take a fair fight. Now, 2-1, first round on the board here for VG. Great play there from Slashug in that early round. It's going to be laundry room defense now from Excellence as they were successful in that top 4 defense. This is the first time we've seen the basement held, and it's going to be on round number 4.
And then Mira finally does make an appearance here, and again we're going to see VG pick up the same 5 operators.
Well, we saw the Mira earlier from Excellence when they were holding that top floor, but no, I think it's only Vertical right now who hasn't showed us that the Mira. But
really, okay.
Yeah, but it makes much more sense having that Mira downstairs. You know, it's
you're
going
right.
to be
You're right.
more,
We did see that Mira.
more aptly used, I suppose, is what's really going to come down to here.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Interesting. It looks like we might see some heavy meeting hall pressure coming out from Excellence.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
We say that, but they've barricaded, reinforced a lot of stuff, but no
Yeah.
one's up there actually holding just yet.
I'm sure they'll probably have someone find them themselves there at some point. It seems like it might be a little bit of a heavy west roam. I'm not sure what's going on here for Excellence. Let me see what's going on. Wow, some very aggressive play into the west lobby from, or not west, sorry, just the west side of the building here from VG. Barely even 30 seconds progressed, and VG already have control over Kitchen. This is actually really big. I love that drone game coordination for VG. King George and Young, you can see they're clearing out all the way from Kitchen into meeting, and now Slashug's going to know what he's going up against, which is going to be a Fox A roaming inside of the meeting hall. And actually a Geo as well. And then my man's going to be playing it up inside the tower.
Now Fox is trying to shoot through this soft wall of pantry up towards the drop hatch, which is where Eclipse is. Or was, we'll say.
Yeah, the attackers are not pressed for anything really here. They've got the information, they've got the time, they can just slowly execute this take and force those roamers down, and it looks like that's exactly what they've done. Excellence has almost entirely fallen back into the bomb site. It's all down to my man now as the last roamer to try and delay just a little bit more.
Now that castle barricade on the wall of the front lobby sometimes goes actually in favor of the attackers.
Yeah, actually,
then you don't have to worry about a pizza from meeting hall. Like oftentimes an attacker, a smart attacking team will say, look, we can get in meeting hall, we can clear that out from kitchen. Let's leave that barricade there.
Yeah, it's the same thing as a west lobby on Chalet castle barricade. You'll see that west lobby door reinforced with the castle barricade, and then, all right, the attackers are just going to thermite into trophy since you can't stop that anymore. So yeah, that barricade is actually pretty much, it's an interesting one, and honestly, I don't think it's the good one for, I don't think it's a very good one for Excellence, but despite that, VG's going to open it on up so they can watch their flank a little bit more aggressively, especially considering they have that control already. You can see here that Excellence is going to be trying to apply some pressure into the attic and get this late roam game off. We'll see if VG's ready to receive this. Slashug is going to be in a position to receive this roam.
Now my man's going to go for the peek here. I think Slash might have seen him. He's going to hold a very small angle, spots the head of him, tries to take it off, but right now that's just going to be a stalemate. 30 seconds left to go. Young is working his way down the main stairwell. There's been 2 gas grenades tossed out, which means there's 1 left in the hands of Brian. 20 seconds to go. Still a 5-on-5. We're going to have to witness this go down to the final seconds. Young does have about 60 health left. He's got to go on through here. I think that might have been the last gas grenade. Tries to toss. No, there's no more left. C4 is going to come on up, and he calls it fake. And that's 1 down, double down there. That's going to be a wonderful job by Brian. Slash picked up a kill along with Avian. Gurmy tags 1 down. He tags 2. Brian picks up a double kill. What a round to finish it off for Excellence. Round number 4 going to their hands. 3-1 now.
Great job there for Brian, really holding that together for his team. And what a spontaneous round. Just slow, slow, slow. That explosion. All 5 of the attackers and all 5 of the defenders clash in what seemed like, I think that came down to about a 15-second engagement between the 2 teams.
I'd say about 15,
about
10
15.
seconds, something like that, yeah.
Between 10 and 15 seconds, and then everyone was dead. It was a great attempt there from VG. I think they just took too much time with their clear of the roamers. Really was what it came down to. They I think afforded too much attention to the roam game overall. And arguably, Excellence forced that out. You know, they did not relent with their roam game. Even after falling back to the bomb site, they still continued to apply pressure. And that really put a lot onto the shoulders of Slashug, who was trying to hold that flank single-handedly. Then everybody else from VG trying to push into the bomb site was conscious of, oh, Slashug's contesting right now. Slashug's contesting right now. They took their nice and slow time pushing inside, and it just did not work out. Now, 3-1 in favor of Excellence. Looks like we might see map number 3. They've only got to win one more round to put it on to match point.
We are going to spot out here from Excellence the Jackal Glaz combination, which we talked about multiple times in the past. Is Jackal's now being paired up with Glaz due to the fact that he's got smoke grenades in his arsenal.
And, you know, it used to be the case that smoke grenades were such a commonplace appearance in the Pro League. I mean, you saw them almost every single match because you got Thermite bringing them. You've got Ash bringing them. And now it's the case that, no, it's in fact, it's flashbangs that you see commonplace. As the operator selection hasn't changed for the most part based on that, that adjustment. But, you know, it is really great to see when smokes do make their way back. You see this... almost always it's just a Jackal Glaz combo come into play. And, you know, it's really great. This Jackal Glaz combo is not only really great at clearing out the roamers, but it's also really great at just getting site pushes because that smoke Glaz combination is so powerful. Still, even after his nerf.
Now, King George was trying to be over-aggressive and fight Geo out by the white vans. He got a little bullet in the chest, but again, that's not going to do as much damage as pre-season 1 or pre-season 2.
He would probably be down right now if it were pre-nerf.
Fox gets the kill there onto Eclipse and gets traded back by Slash, and then yet again another refrag coming out from Gurmy.
So you gotta, yeah, Excellence is feeling really good here. King George is gonna be on 1 HP, and he's likely to be collapsed upon at any moment now.
We say that, but as he gives away his position, my man will be taken down by a headshot from King George. A wonderful picked up frag at 3-on-3 now. Still half the round left to go. Classroom wall, that might have been Classroom wall or the box getting opened up.
Oh, King George is trying to salvage this.
Oh, can he get back up? Oh, he chopped down one little nick too much, and that's gonna force him to be taken down. Brian, though, picks up that kill.
Still winnable though, despite the fact that King George missed that last bullet onto the Hibana.
Took him down very low.
He put Hibana on 1 HP, and with a Hibana and a Glaz both on 1 HP, all Young really needs to do is smoke out that Gurmy, and he will win this round just off smoke. He can win it just off gas canisters.
Oh, they're going to get picked back up here, and that's going to be a lot of time wasted. But again, there's only 2 members left for the defending squad. They know they're going to be on site. The roam game isn't going to be that strong now. And with that, it's going to be up to Young and his gas grenades to hold off this push.
Yeah, to be honest, that pickup was the right call. These attackers have plenty of time to execute this attack. They don't need to stress themselves here. 50 HP is going to be much more comfortable. Now, they do have to worry about the fact that there's 3 gas canisters, and he can chain them to the point at which, like, he will not have 1 second of space for Brian.
There's the first one. Oh, he might get it down. The smoke grenade's going to blind him, and so he will actually get this plant down in time. Brian just securing it. Now, he doesn't go for the fake. He does go get it successfully up into the corners where he'll sit. Rain down from above will be where Gurmy sits, and he's going to be looking down through the drop hatch, looking towards the laundry cubby. Gurmy still trying to hold on to the angle. Young goes for the shots, but he doesn't get out in time. Brian picks up one. Gurmy gets the other, and that's going to be a nice clutch moment here for Excellence. They're now on match point of map number 2. It's 4-1.
That's an example of smoke grenades there being very useful for the attackers. So, of course, great collapse onto the roam game early on for Excellence, but when they came into the site push, that smoke grenade from the Glaz is the only reason they won that round. Straight up. Only reason they managed to salvage that. And it looks like we will be having a rehost here, ladies and gentlemen. That's okay. Excellent. So they're going to be at 4-1 regardless. Scoreline's not going to change, and they've got to be feeling pretty good here on Oregon. Now, again, to touch on that last round, if that weren't for that smoke grenade, would have lost that round through and through. Blinded Young made it so he didn't know where to throw his gas grenades, and because of that, they managed to get the defuse plan.
Yeah, I mean, that's very unfortunate, because, I mean, when you have 3 smoke grenades or 3 gas grenades on smoke, there were, what, 20 seconds left?
Yeah, to be honest,
it's like
I was
you toss
really
one
surprised.
out, you make sure both your corners are covered, and then last one, you wait until the smoke dissipates, and you hopefully get it.
Yeah, I was really surprised there by Young that he didn't just kind of throw his gas canisters, and you know, cover all of his bases with so little time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really going to matter. I think that clearly what we're seeing here from Excellence is that they're very dominant on Oregon. They just seem to be the stronger team. I mean, 4-1 right now. It's going to come down, I think, just to skyscraper play.
So I think what's going to happen here is Vertical Gaming is going to lose this second map, and that means we're not going to have a single undefeated team yet.
Yeah,
I think your team during season 2 of last year was the closest team to ever being undefeated. You were one map away, and it was during this final playoff game.
We lost one. This was year 1, season 2. It was technically the same team that is VG now. We were called Orbit GG at the time. We won every single map until the very last map that we played in that season. And keep in mind, back then you played every team in the league.
Yeah.
So it was
7 other teams. It was 7-week longs. It was a round robin structure.
Yeah.
Not a bracket tournament structure like this.
Yeah.
But you played every team, and it was a 2 map series, not best of 3, just 2 maps. And you played, I think it was Flipside, and you won the first map. Second map was on Clubhouse.
And we lost that one on Clubhouse due to, unfortunately, a little bit of a fuse exploit. It was really unfortunate. We lost our Smoke, who was playing inside of the church, trying to hold against the church wall take. And this is back when the meta was put your thermite on church wall and open that. Remember that meta? Oh my gosh, that was so long ago. And because our Smoke got taken out early, do that exploit, fuse coming through the reinforced wall, then it opened up the attack there for Flipside, and they got the defuse plant, and we couldn't get the retake on the final round of the map.
So that looks like these two teams, Vertical Gaming and Excellence, will likely head back into that same kind of scenario where they're one map away from having that undefeated season. We are going to get underway in just a moment. We're still waiting for the rehost to happen as the teams are going to funnel back in.
I don't think anyone's had an undefeated season yet.
Not that I recall at all.
It's going to be really fantastic when we see our first undefeated season, but keep in mind, it's getting harder and harder for teams to get an undefeated season because the competition just keeps getting stronger.
I mean, especially when you've got what we call these Titan teams on either side of the group stages in every single region.
I mean, we're talking about Excellence or Flipside today are going to not make it to LAN.
Yeah.
Like that's...
Elevator Flipside.
Elevator Flipside, excuse me. That's by itself kind of a little bit mind-blowing. You're expecting to see both of them at LAN. You know, it kind of... going into the season, you're like, okay, they're going to make it. Continuum. I mean, come on. You know, everyone expected them to be making it to LAN this season, and
I mean,
they're just not. Again, 2 seasons in a row now.
Yeah, in all honesty, nothing against Continuum, but they seem to have their ups, and then they just seem to be in a low spot now.
When season 3, year 1, and then Invitational, and then suddenly not make it to either of the next 2 LANs.
And I think... To me, what I feel happened is not that Continuum changed up rosters and are not playing up to their level. No. I think it's these other teams are now seeing how much effort, how much skill it takes to play at this high level, and it's making them thirsty for more. It's making them hungry to play at this top level, and that's why we're seeing so many teams come out with these new strategies. We're seeing this season alone, I want to say nearly 50% more bomb sites chosen than we've seen in the past season.
Yeah.
And this is just tremendous. I mean, to me, it's just like you see these teams coming out of the woodwork saying, we're going to come up with these pocket strats. We're going to come up with these different elements to this strategy. And I think that's what's going to lead teams to then come out on top.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's really crazy high levels of competition, and I think it really comes down to our new bracket system as well.
Yep.
You know, we used to use round robin and just be based off points, and people would be a little bit lax in certain fights. Like they're going up against this team, and they'll just say, it's whatever. You know, we actually had a couple situations way back, season 1, season 2, when I was playing, where it was a team would actually be coming up against us. And they would just give up. Like they would fight hard. Don't get me wrong. They're not trying to lose or anything. Like they're not throwing or anything. But they'd be like, we can't beat these guys. We can't beat these guys. I actually talked to a couple teams who would, after a couple matches, where they're like, yeah, no, we weren't expecting to be able to take you guys on, but we tried our best and we put in our A+ effort. But now what you've got is, with the way the elimination system works, is like, no. We're coming to this match with everything because we don't want to get eliminated from the Pro League this early on. No.
Yeah.
we're not getting we're not getting taken out in we're losing in our first bracket, then losing in the loser bracket, then we're done. That's it. You get 2 matches in Pro League, and then you're done.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be that guy.
Nobody wants to be that because, again, you're playing week 1, week 3, or week 2 and week 4, and you're out in a 7-week series or a 7-week long season. But to touch on that note while we wait for everyone to funnel back in here, there's been some confusion in the past about who makes it to season 3, who has to fight in relegations, who has to do who has to do the legwork to make themselves back into the Pro League. It's a little bit different than season 1. Season 1, it was in the Pro League. If you placed 7th and 8th, you were automatically put down into the Challenger League. If you placed 1st and 2nd into the Challenger League, you were automatically put up into the Pro League for the next season. That's not how it works this season. This season, it's a little bit different. You're never guaranteed a spot if you're in those bottom 4 teams of the Pro League, and you're never guaranteed a spot into the Pro League if you're one of the top 4 teams in the Challengers. Basically, the way it works, there's going to be 2 sets of relegations. If you're in 7th and 8th coming out of the Pro League, which is Omen and Infamy,
right?
They play 7th and 8th in Pro League. They will then have to fight teams 1st and 2nd place coming out of the Challenger. It's not a guaranteed you're going down and a guaranteed you're coming up. So they're going to have to go into a relegation. Then we have a second set of relegations for the 5th and 6th place teams. That's going to be Continuum and Bittersweet. Those 2 teams are going to be 5th and 6th in the Pro League. They're going to have to fight 3rd and 4th out of the Challenger League, which I don't think those have been decided just yet. They might have been.
So Bitter and Continuum, we're going to have a little bit of an easier go of it than Infamy.
Potentially, yes.
Of course, but it is still going to be a very a close, I think, for the level of competition we've been seeing coming out of the Challenger League.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of teams have been seeing a lot stronger. I think we're going to see Continuum make their way into the Pro League. And of course, that raises the big question: is Continuum going to make it to Season 3 finals, or are they going to struggle to do that yet again?
I think that's a lot of speculation to have in one 5-minute conversation.
Far away, yeah. No, I think we, you know, of course, that's way off. You know, we haven't even seen relegation start. We don't even know who's going to be playing against Continuum yet. And then, you know, more importantly, this season hasn't even ended.
Yeah, but I mean, when Bittersweet does go to move the conversation to Bittersweet, when Bittersweet does go to play some of these Challenger League teams, it's going to be very similar, I would say, to some of the teams that they played last season because they came from the Challenger League. They know who's down there. They know the type of competition.
We've seen Bittersweet and Infamy both do very well within their Challenger League meta. Now, the Challenger League meta, on that note, from both of those teams, hasn't been propped up well against some of these other Pro League teams. Like what we've seen them bring from the Challenger League into the Pro League just hasn't been working. But it does work well against itself. So I think those 2 teams are going to be really chopping through people in the relegations.
At the very least, what it's done is it's thrown a little curveball into the meta where we're seeing different things come out. For example, I think one of the mirror windows we saw, trying to think where it came out from. That was the one on Cafe. Sorry, that was Panics on Team Vitality.
Are you talking about the far east of Freezer looking
by
towards
Freezer
the
looking
piano?
through Freezer looking in Piano top floor. That was from Team Vitality in the European region, but almost every team's doing that now, or a lot of teams are at least aware of it.
Not every team's doing it. Yeah, everyone's aware of it. And, you know, I think a lot of them do try to work it into their play, and it has been really successful when we've seen it. You know, of course, that's a great mirror window that just affords whoever's playing on the A-bomb site or / white hallway basically full control over the top floor, aside from the main white hall. And that can be remedied by somebody playing on the white stairs, of course. So.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have someone on the white stairs and you have one person playing the A-bomb, with that mirror window, you have full control over the top floor, just looking away from A towards B, towards Scar, towards Piano. You just have full control.
They do. I mean, that's the purpose of the mirror window. Give you full control, not necessarily physical control, but full control of being able to stop a push coming in. One of the things, though, we talked about the bottom 4 teams out of the Pro League and what happens to them and their relegations. The top 4 teams are guaranteed into the next season Pro League as long as they maintain 3 original members from this roster. So that means Elevate, it means Excellence, it means Vertical, and it means Flipside will all be here next season at their chance of trying to go to Brazil. Their chance, not guaranteed. You know, regardless of how you do in season 2, you're not going to be guaranteed a spot in Season 3 land until you get to the playoffs.
Yeah, we've seen. I think the way that it also works is as soon as the Pro League starts, you play your first match.
Yep.
Then everyone on your team is then be considered an original member. So as soon as you play your first match, you can actually still technically rotate 2 players out of that.
Correct.
So like you could rotate 2 players before you have your 5 original members from the previous season. You rotate 2 members, bring in those 2 guys. Then
play your first game.
Play your first game. Season starts, and then you have 5 original members, and you rotate 2 other members, and you can have a 4-man new roster.
I don't necessarily know
who
who wants to change up 80% of
right?
their team.
Nobody wants to do that, but
especially if you're one of these top 4 teams that have done so well.
it's possible though.
It is possible.
But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get back into the match. It's going to be on Oregon. Excellence is of course up 4-2, VG's 1. And it looks like pretty certainly we're going to be seeing Skyscraper played as our 3rd and final decider map in this series. However, you know, if a team's going to come back, I'd say it's going to be VG here. They've got the skill. They've got the potential. They're going to be attacking onto the top 4.
VG's commonly been one of those teams that loses the first few rounds, gets a feeling for the team they're playing against, and then counter-strats mid-game and comes out on top. Now that was, I'd say, the old VG before we had King George come into the mix. King George has since brought a very different kind of mentality to the team, and it's worked out tremendously well for them. Here, however, they are seeming to struggle on Oregon against Excellence.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Now we are going to see Excellence hold down the bottom, or hold down the kitchen on main floor when bomb site's top side. Looks as though my man will stick himself in here. Now last time he picked up 1 kill into King George playing the Blackbeard, and then rotated on out, and ultimately, this is where it was a flawless round, I think, for Excellence.
Yeah, Excellence had a really good time at defending this top floor last time they were here. They got that early kill at the start of the round. I think there was a run out from Foxay.
Onto
and
Eclipse.
Then there was my man, like you said, getting King George. And then after that, Excellence just waited. And VG got down to like the last 30 seconds, started to try and push, and it was not nearly enough time. And of course, they didn't make that comeback. 3 versus 5, it's not going to happen.
Now Eclipse is going to move his drone down here through the bathroom corridor, spots one of the rotation holes from a man, realizes, okay, he's backed on out, try to push on in. He opens up some of the wall there, make sure that no one's going to be tucked around inside of the corner.
Almost looks like a kitchen attack here.
Possibly.
So yeah, VG just doing that standard west side kitchen clear. Trying to... no, this attack works really well if you can actually get the roamers who are playing down in the kitchen. If you can kill them, put yourselves at the man advantage, it works wonders. But if said roamers are allowed to play it safe and get away, escape that angle, and not fight you directly, and just waste your time, then you effectively, as an attacker, getting this control, it does almost nothing for you.
Now, my man's sitting on a very peculiar position here at the bottom of the main stairs. I don't know if he's going to get droned out unless the drones are going to go upstairs towards him.
This is also good. Eclipse opening up at the top of white stairs, that's a lot of control that the defenders won't have, because that top white stairs position is arguably one of the most powerful positions on this whole defense here.
Now we are going to be seeing my man still stationed on the stairs there. Foxay using his Valk cam placed by Geo to just get a full line of sight, a very good amount of panoramic view.
Good start for Avian. He's going to take out Geo.
Swapping mags.
That was the top of the white tower into the A site, A bomb site.
Nice. A little bit of an aggressive play there from Geo. 45 seconds to go, though. Excellence, all they really need to do is wait patiently for the VG attack to force itself in. They are running very much out of time here. And my man, if he is able to get a nice, well-timed flank off, he's going to put his team in an even better position.
Now, if he moves into kitchen, he will be seen here by Blackbeard. King George already holding... Oh, yeah, it looks like Young might be holding down the angle. Gurmy, though, picks up a C4 kill to Slash Hog. 20 seconds to go. My man's going to back on over to Classroom. King George peeking on in through the A window, trying to hold down the rotation, but with the mirror window there, it's not going to allow King George an easy push in. Bomb's going to be in the hands of Avian as he comes on up the stairs. Young going to follow suit. The man comes up from behind, tags one down, goes for Avian from behind, looks to the side, gets King George down. It looks like Confuser gets fallen. Gurmy picks up a team kill after taking out one member. That's going to be a knife from a man to win round number 6 Round number 7, that's going to be a 5-1 victory
No,
here
rounds.
for Excellence. Round 7, 5-1. Or 6.
Six.
That is round 6.
Yeah, you were right the first time. It is going to be round number 6, and that's a 5-1 victory. That was very dominant there from Excellence.
Yes, they did a very nice job there collapsing, and ultimately, I mean, my man had perfect timing there. He looked like he was about to go a little bit early. Young was inside of the dining room looking in towards kitchen, got droned out, realized, hey, let me back it up a bit, waste a little bit more time till they're forced to go for that commitment up the stairs. He did so, picked off Young, and
Really
moved
good
in forward.
pacing. And apart from just the pacing from a man, I mean, overall the defense from Excellence was well coordinated. And I mean, everything from Excellence on Oregon. They seemingly really did have a grasp on Oregon. Obviously, that's going to be one of those maps that people are not going to want to bring Excellence to. But now, I believe we're going to be moving on to Skyscraper. Skyscraper is going to be our map number 3 for this series. And before we get there, let's take a look at some of the highlights here on Oregon. Now, it was a good overall match. Of course, there were some close rounds for VG, like this one right here, where Slashhug almost managed to bring it back for his team. You see, though, because he's on 50 HP, one shot from that Deagle did actually eliminate him.
Yeah, I think a Deagle, if I remember correctly, does like 64 damage or something.
It's
at
pretty
point
high
blank.
up there on the spectrum. It's, I think, one of the top. It is certainly one of the top damaging pistols.
Double highlight there to get rid of IQ with the C4.
That's really nicely
mean.
well placed there for C4 from Slashhug. See, that was the example of Slashhug actually doing some good work on that main West Lobby window, or not West Lobby, excuse me, just West Side window. That was the one round that VG actually managed to win too. That defense, that top floor there.
Now here's that well-timed flank from a man, picks up that kill into Young, moves on over, takes out King George as well, and just ultimately. My man gets the
Turn it
3K
around
there.
for the knife.
Yes.
What a great job there.
It's like, I got you. Knife him right there in the side. That will be the map number 2 going into the hands of Excellence Gaming. Map number 3, as we said earlier, will be on Skyscraper. And ultimately, what this means is that there's not going to be an undefeated team here this season.
Yeah, a little bit of a bummer there, I suppose, not seeing an undefeated team. You know, it's going to be really cool once we see, out of any region, really, a completely undefeated team. We haven't seen it yet, and I don't think we'll see it for a while, but it will come around eventually at some point.
Eventually.
It's a lot easier now. Technically a lot easier in this current system that we have. Yeah, sure, the matches are way, way fiercer because teams are trying super hard to win everything. But also you play less matches.
You play less matches, and ultimately, I mean, even if they come down to a super close series, every game, if it's the closest it can possibly be, it's still a 4-3 at one point or another. Most of the time comes down to a 1-on-1 and a 4-3. Who's going to win that last fight? Will you take it to 5-3 or will you make it 4-4?
Yeah, I mean, if we were still using that round robin system with the teams we have right now, oh my gosh. If we went back to that, no one would ever go undefeated, ever. It would be impossible.
Very difficult. Now, again, talking about Skyscraper, one of the less common maps, one of the lesser common maps we see here in the Pro League.
I think we've even been seeing Coastline a little bit more than we've been seeing Skyscraper.
I want to say so as well, like, especially from the decider matches and early playoffs. We've seen more Coastline than we have Skyscraper.
Last week, we saw Coastline in every single region, I think.
I think 2 weeks ago, it was the deciders to find third and fourth.
Was it the deciders or was it the play? No, you're right. It was the deciders. So 2 weeks ago,
yeah, the deciders to get into the playoffs
in every single series except for possibly Europe.
Yeah, I think Europe chose Skyscraper instead of Coastline on that one.
Yeah, it was Skyscraper instead. So we saw some big upsets in that decider, and that was those teams in the decider bracket who needed to decide, you know, if they were going to go, if be eliminated from this Pro League, or if it was going to be, hey, let's push on in the playoffs. They were showing their cards, their hands a little bit there, saying, all right, we're going to
That's where we saw, if I remember correctly, Flipside and Continuum.
It was Flipside and the Brazilian team BRK.
Yes,
they both brought Coastline to the field.
Yep.
And they showed some really cool strategies. Both of them pretty much the same, actually, strategies wise. I think they probably coordinated that, and that was them again. That was them showing their hands, being like, okay, we have practiced Coastline and we feel confident here. We want to give ourselves that map advantage moving into this best of 3 and try and push ourselves into the playoffs. And obviously it was necessary there for Flipside because Continuum very clearly were not ready to play on Coastline. And even then, despite that, it went to the third map.
It did. We talked about this actually off stream earlier today. How does a team know when to show their hands, when to show their cards, and when not to? Like we talked about. Okay, you just mentioned we saw Flipside play on Coastline. Did they show their hand, or was it just a fluke and they did very well?
Clearly, they showed their hand. They showed
their hand on that map.
Yeah.
do we see teams showing their hands last week to make sure that they secure that land spot? Or do they hide it? Are we going to see Flipside or Elevate show their hand like fully?
Flipside and Elevate are both going to show their hands fully. Yes, they have to.
They have to.
Abso-freaking-lutely. There's no way either of those teams hold back an inch in this next matchup we're going to see today. Now, these two teams right here, they're having a lovey-dovey fest. They're just kind of, going at each other. They're friends. They both want to win, but it doesn't really mean too much. They want that seed, but it doesn't really mean too much. And we are
going to get underway here, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be here on Skyscraper, map number 3, Vertical Gaming versus Excellence Gaming. In the battle of the two top teams coming out of North America, let's take a look at the operator selections, starting up with VG on attack, Excellence on defense.
Yep. And it's going to be karaoke, of course.
I see a Rook.
Yeah, a little bit, it's so weird to say that Rook is abnormal, but he is. He's absolutely abnormal in this current meta. You see more often if we're going to see either between a Rook and a Doc, you're going to see a Doc 9 times out of 10. So seeing this Rook, obviously they have a plan for the impact grenades.
So people tell me that that in his profile picture there, in the operator selection screen, that picture of his elite skin looks like an astronaut's helmet. To me, it looks more like a fishbowl upside down on his head. I'm an aquarium fish kind of guy.
That's how a child cosplays as an astronaut, don't you know?
Yes, that actually is very true.
That's how you got to do it, man.
My head was never small enough to fit into one of those, so I've always been a big-headed kid.
I never wanted to pretend to be an astronaut. Never did that.
I was more of a magician as a kid.
No, I feel that. I respect that. Now, again, it is going to be a top 4 defense from Excellence. No surprise there. This is the bomb site of preference for almost every single team. You got that secondary bomb site downstairs in the kitchen barbecue for the which could be the majority of the rotation here.
Gurmy's going to be tucked around inside of the pantry hallway, reception hallway, which is not necessarily a common spot, but it is very open, and a lot of the times you will have drones passing through here like a highway. So I don't necessarily know if Gurmy's going to get the luxury of staying around here the whole time.
VG's not pressuring too hard in delivery. I'm not sure what's going on there. It looks like it's just going to be a straight take onto the balcony. And we've discussed this before, how sometimes Skyscraper can devolve into just, hey, take from the balcony, take from the balcony, take from the balcony. And 9 times out of 10 when this happens, the attackers lose, straight up. Because when you're forcing in through nothing but the balcony onto a top floor attack, defense, yeah, you just funneled. Exactly. You can see here King George using his levitation skills to pressure onto that bottom north stairs window. And basically that bottom north stairs window, by cutting that off, he's going to make it so Gurmy can't rotate back into the site. That's really good pressure there from King George.
Yep.
You can see Gurmy. Now, he's stuck here. He doesn't really have a lot of maneuverability. He's going to know where the attackers are using his pulse sensor, but he can't do anything about it. I mean, if he challenges King George, he straight loses. There's no way he wins that fight.
The one saving grace he has is to hop out the window, get the side flank on George, but again, I think George is going to hear that.
He could, in theory, also kind of hook a C4 up onto those guys on the balcony above him. Now, of course, the balcony's not destructible from below, as far as I can tell. But he can hook up a C4. He can make that arc
right
happen.
above him, there's the C4 getting placed. It's pre-placed right now. Gurmy's just waiting for that perfect time. Shot's going to come in through. He realized that his life was almost in danger. So he blew it a little early, but that's better than leaving it there for the whole round. Now it looks as though Slash and King George are both going to pinch onto Gurmy. They know he's here, so King George has his eagle eye right down onto the corridor. Clip's going to try to bait out some more of those gas grenades. 50 seconds left on the board, still 5-5. Flashbeam is going to come out from King there onto the B site. And Smoke is now being met there with a drone trying to kiss him on the face. So Gurmy tagged on outside. Geo picks up 1 kill into King, but not before Brian gets laid out flat by King George. Gurmy coming on up the north stairs, tags 1 down, almost all another, goes for the tag, turns his back at the wrong time, but Clips picks it on up for the refrag trade. A 3-on-3, 20 seconds to go. Fox has moved on into the yellow cubby, and I believe we have a Thatcher. I think that's Young inside of the B site. He's going to pick up 1 kill, go for the plant down. 2 members left, going to be Fox inside of Cubby. My man's going to be, I believe that's going to be coming from Drum Room. Picks up the kill on Young. Diffuser was not successfully planted. To get to moving forward. Slash gets the trade there on the Young. Last man alive is going to be Fox. Plant goes down, it looks like, and there is Eclipse. I don't know if Fox is going to see him in time. Goes to the shot. Oh, the plant goes down, and there's the refrag coming out. Slash gets the pistol kill. Attackers will win round number 1. VG comes out on top.
Wow, what a series of events there. So the first thing that started that cascade of trades was King George falling off his hold of those bottom north stairs. Because of that, he got the kill on the player inside of the B bomb site. But after he got the kill on the player inside the B bomb site, he got refragged. Then, more importantly, there was no one holding that north stairs rotation yet again. So the Pulse was allowed to come up and take out somebody, one of the attackers playing on the north balcony. And after that, we saw the aggression from the Sledge rush on in and get that refrag onto the Pulse. Just a back and forth cascade. Then we saw some engagements happening into the Geisha room, and it came down to a 2 versus 1 in favor of the attackers. That was VG. They got the defuse plant with very moments to spare. Well, no moments to spare. Exactly 0, actually. They got the diffuser plant, and right after that, Slashhog managed to get the trade from his Thatcher teammate who had planted. So just a series of trades, really, in that round, and it all started. King George came off of the north stairs hold. Now, we are going to see VG walking away with that nice little 1-round lead, and it's going to be Excellence onto the attack at the same bomb site on top floor. Again, no surprises.
I want to see where Slash tosses out this camera instead of Dragon. I oftentimes get asked, where's some good Valk cams to get placed in Skyscraper?
Freaking everywhere, dude.
Everywhere.
You throw a camera outside on Skyscraper, and it is hard to find. I mean, there are
surprisingly
so
we don't
many
see IQ though.
You know, we've seen IQ a couple times on Skyscraper. I think the reason we don't see as much IQ play on Skyscraper as we would expect is because it's Skyscraper and we don't see Skyscraper. it's less about IQ. It's more about Skyscraper not being played often.
It's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah, so this early aggression from Foxay is actually not to be underlooked or overlooked, because the fact that he was allowed to vault in like that means that VG very clearly doesn't have any precedence on that roam game. And you can see here he opened up, I believe that's underneath yellow corner, which means that when the push comes from Excellence into the bomb site, there isn't going to be there's not going to be a corner for VG to safely hide it inside of A. So that was a really good early Ash charge there from Foxay. Even though you can see he completely defaulted off that presence, it still means that VG can't play in that corner. And that's huge. Now, Excellence is going to be defaulting you back to the normal take after that Ash charge. It looks like actually Slash is going to read into this, I think. Yeah, he's going to be like, okay, well, you opened up the floor, but you're not playing it anymore.
Note to self, people playing against Vertical Gaming and Slash, if he's still alive,
he's going to be thrown under a window.
Treat every single window you vault in like there's a frost trap.
My man reading into that, apparently.
Yeah, he's going to hear that wiggle on through the hallway, or wiggling through the room to the bottom of the windowsill. Geo, though, picks up a nice frag there onto Eclipse, coming on out of the terrace to Drum.
That knife that Slashhog got earlier on the west window.
That was Capital, yep.
Yeah, that's what VG would call the snake knife.
Is that Snake Nade's proprietary thing?
He started that out, yeah.
Okay. Now there are only 3 members left here on VG. King George meeting a little bit of a skirmish. Skirmish going to come up the north stairs, tag a couple shots towards Avian, but misses each and every one of them. The man picks up the kill with the AL-85 on a Young. Looks like Foxay and King George going to go back and forth. King George loses that engagement. Last penalized is going to be Avian, and there's going to be a flawless round for Excellence as they just forced their way onto site, taking out every member of VG.
So it's worth noting there that Excellence here, okay, very clearly, first of all, seems like this map is, to start things out, attacker sided through and through. But the more important thing there is, like you said, flawless round for Excellence. They didn't lose a single member, and they had a very well-coordinated attack there. I really like their early aggression downstairs, disabling the yellow corner. Once they disabled the yellow corner, it's just a collapse onto the A bomb site. Really well-coordinated. Love it. Whereas VG, they had to struggle to take into the B bomb site, and they had to keep getting those refrags after refrags after refrags. So, despite it being, whoa, is this invitational, VG?
I was going to say, is this an invitation where we're seeing the Monty come on out? I remember seeing Monty push on up the north stairs.
Yeah, we haven't, well, he didn't push up the north stairs. He came from the north balcony into the A bomb site. We haven't actually seen much Montaigne play since Invitational. That was, of course, a whole season, and actually, well, almost 2 seasons ago, basically.
6 months.
This season's just about done. So, yeah, it was quite a while ago. But you can see here very clearly VG coming back to the basics, coming back to their old tried and true, and we'll see if it works here against Excellence, although I have to question whether it's necessary or not. As again, they did win with their standard take previously. And if that pattern continues, then that's all they really need. I mean, obviously, Excellence, they haven't rotated off of the Geisha, or sorry, not the Geisha, the Tea Room Karaoke defense. It's the same thing, so in theory, if Excellence executes the same way, sorry, if Vertical executes the same way, they could just make this work. But, I mean, I guess adjustments are good for the fluidity of a win.
And it could also be the fact that they don't want to necessarily show their hands in this match, so they're going to go with a tried and true method of 2 metas ago, going all the way back here on Skyscraper. They could just be saying, hey, this is something that's worked in the past, let's just throw it together, see if it works this time. Woo! Paul's being over-aggressive, tries to go for the shots there to Eclipse, but Eclipse was ready for it.
Eclipse wins those. He hits those flicks. He must have, what was likely happening there is Eclipse heard the heartbeat detector be put back away, and that's a really loud noise. And he's like, oh, this window. He's gonna vault out of this window, and he was certainly right about that.
Attackers have located a
Probably
bomb.
went for the pre-fire as soon as he heard the heartbeat detector. Now Avian's gonna be pressuring onto this north stairway. He's gonna be taken out by Brian. That's good aggression there from him. The longer Brian is allowed to stay alive on these stairs, the worse. I think Young was just down there from the east side of the building. Yeah, this is my man peeking through this east side wall, taking out downing Young. Meanwhile, Brian's going to get his second kill of this round. It looks like this might be the first defense, successful defense that is, for either team, going in favor of Excellence.
It looks as though Young is going to crawl his way all the way back to the, I think that's the south balcony.
Could you imagine if Brian ran out right now onto that west balcony? He get a swift double kill, but it's not going to happen. And King George is going to make his way upstairs here. He's going to start pressuring onto the B window. This is what happened last time. King George was allowed to pick off Brian, and then VG just kind of filed on into B and got those trades. My man's going to reestablish this angle, but Young's going to be ready for it this time, and he will get the kill. That's actually a really important kill there, because now not only is East pressure alleviated, but also, more importantly, the man count swings back into an even.
Ooh, looks like a shotgun kill from Brian. Takes out the Blackbeard. King George moving on into the B site.
Brian's on fire for this round.
Yellow Cubby's going to have one member in it. Brian gets taken out there by Young. A knife from Fox goes on to Avian. Last member alive was Young, but coming out there will be bullets from Fox to finish off the final members of VG.
So I think that was a 3K for Brian and a 2K for Fox. Well done to him. Well done to both of them, actually. And there you go. That is the very first defense win there for either team. Going on to Excellence's side. That's a pretty big leap, and you have to imagine that VG is going to be able to reciprocate said leap, but it's going to be difficult. As the last time we saw Excellence attack onto this bomb site, it was so dominant. And it's going to be, again, same bomb site, Karaoke Tea Room. I think that most teams heavily prefer to defend the Karaoke Tea Room to any other option on this map.
Attackers need to locate and
I think so, and typically after this site gets successfully defended, we'll see the bomb site go downstairs to the barbecue and kitchen area. Every now and again, we'll see the exhibition and display, or exhibition and trophy, however you want to call it. But typically that barbecue kitchen is the second favorite bomb site.
Yeah, and I think between these two teams, it's going to be the same way. It's just barbecue kitchen, unless they have something special to show us on one of the other bomb sites, which is entirely possible. I'm guessing they probably practiced this map together. I mean, you could tell, actually, you can tell by the way that it's played, it reflects each other. I mean, yeah, no, Excellence and VG definitely both seeming like,
5 seconds to insertion.
almost like brothers, in a sense, in terms of their team, how they play. You're seeing a lot of, you can see a lot of similarities between them.
Left the area of operation.
Okay, so, Excellence, if they win this round, are going to put themselves at 3-1, and they have been very successful in this again previously. Fox is looking to go for that same aggressive Ash charge underneath the yellow corner. And if he does this, he again will disable that yellow corner for play from VG. And it doesn't look, nobody from VG is in a position to stop this. There's no...
Yeah.
Oh, actually, there's holes in the floor here from Avian. Avian's going to be ready to receive Foxay, but he will look away just the wrong moment. And because that Foxay has made his way in, did you guys see that? Barely.
Oh, and that's going to tag Slash down to 25 health, a little bit less than 20 health. Now, the importance of that whole, not necessarily, yes, it will stop someone from being inside of that yellow corner, or at least it'll make them risky. But at the same time, all they have to do is stick a drone down in there, and the drone can look on up and someone who's dead off the board can get that information, call out one of the defenders sitting in the corner.
Going live.
Bomb has been located.
Now we do have Eclipse inside of the drum room. Fox is going to be underneath of it, looking like he's going to come up the middle stairs.
Reloading. Cover me. Deploying drone.
Avian gets a nice shotgun kill into Fox, though. That's going to be Ash off the board. Now, Gurmy's still trying to work his way up the north stairwell. He realizes that, hey, oh, there's a Valkyrie camera right above him. I think Gurmy finally saw it right there, lit up right in front. There he goes, takes it on down. A 5-on-4 now, and a lot of this wall has just been terrorized open inside of the B site.
Drone activated.
This might be defense win here for VG despite the early aggression, but no, Geo's starting to get this trade back and making it happen. That's Eclipse playing onto the drone, or sorry, the drum, and Geo bringing it back for his team. That's very important right there. Oh, another kill there from a man onto Young playing in the B-bomb site, and now pressure is starting to be alleviated.
King George will pick up a kill on a man after Sledge had been injured, had been disoriented with the yokai. Looks like another burst is going to go on out. Gurmy again still feeling a little bit woozy over there. He's now going to have to fight off for about 10-20 seconds or so. Plant's going to try to go down as a cover comes out. Geo goes, downs him and finishes off. Slash, more bullets coming in through. Looks like it might take the shoulder of King George. Plant successful. And it looks as though there's going to be a nice shot. However, King George comes out on top. And it looks as though it's going to be King George and Avian. Last two alive. King George down to a very little health. Avian coming out the north stairs. They're going to go for a continued dual peek here. One out the window, one out the door. Avian's going to go for the shotgun kill. Misses his target. King George comes swinging out. Looks like he's going to go for the diffuser, but fakes it. And Geo realizes he's tucked around in the corner. He's going to come on out. Oh, he gets rid of the Claymore. King George, look at the shots coming out of the window. Look at it. Ladies and gentlemen, the hip fire shot there to get rid of the Claymore. That will allot him enough time and enough surprise to win round number 4. Vertical Gaming now ties it up 2-2.
Okay, so Excellence won that round, and then VG won that round actually because King George, straight up. That was just basically just King George stepping up, getting that 1 versus 3 clutch by himself, destroying the Claymore to get that vault out. What an excellent play there from King. Now, it should have been a 3-1 lead. It should be a 3-1 lead right now, but ladies and gentlemen, it is a 2-2. Now both of these teams have successfully attacked and defended the karaoke. And now we're going to be moving on to the second defense site for Excellence, which is going to be that kitchen barbecue.
I'd like to know how many hits King George was on the diffuser when he faked it, or when he got up off it. Not necessarily faked it, but when he got up off. However, he did ultimately get the clutch there, one of a kind. Now, as we said earlier, bomb site for the secondary location will go downstairs into the kitchen and barbecue. Typical spot here, and wonder if how much vertical pressure we're going to see. Gurmy and Fox are currently top side, and it looks as though they're going to be reinforcing, possibly with some mirror windows. We'll have to see where those go in the future.
5 seconds remaining.
We see here one getting placed off. That's actually going to be an odd spot. Definitely not a common one, looking from the middle stairwell into the tea room.
That's some definitely some odd mirror windows going on there, but that's just going to be, I think, a little bit more control towards the east side of the building there for Excellence, and that's important when you're holding a kitchen barbecue. You have to maintain that east control, because it's a lot easier to maintain east control when you're defending top floor, as you don't have to worry too much about defending on the bottom floor, obviously. And defending east from top floor is as simple as controlling drum, which is, you know, you could do that by holding a 90-degree angle. So it's a lot easier to hold it up. That mirror window is going to alleviate some of that extra pressure, which is applied as when you're holding downstairs. VG looks like they're just trying to take from the top down here. Once they have control over Geisha Room, they're going to start opening up holes. And as you can see here, Excellence actually isn't roaming upstairs aside from Gurmy inside of Drum, which is different, to say the least. Usually you see a very heavy investment from the defenders in the top floor when defending Kitchen Barbecue.
Yeah, he's seemingly very exposed up there, having three large avenues come towards him. You've got the east side, the west side, and he can fall off.
Attackers have
But
located
that's
a
definitely
bomb.
not a typical spot we see anyone, especially a one-speed.
Yeah. He's not going to have a lot of options in terms of rotation. In fact, he has one, but he's already utilized said option. And there's only half the round left here for VG, or a little bit less than half the round, actually. They've really got to make this... They really got to make this push happen sooner rather than later. They have control over Geisha, but that's not really going to afford them much. As you can see here, Excellence has 3 people ready to pounce as soon as VG drops into Kitchen. So they're not likely to get that defuse plant easily, despite having this complete vertical control.
It looks as though Young or Slash, they want to drop. I can sense it in their bones, and they're just waiting for that perfect opportunity. Flashbang's going to come on out. Brian will get flashed out. Gas grenade is going to go exploding. Another gas grenade gets tossed on out. Now 35 seconds left to go. Last flashbang comes out. Brian does not get flashed in time. Therefore, the falls will happen. Slash going to move in forward. Tags on down. Looks for Brian. Picks it on up. And Geo gets tagged down as well. A wonderful double kill coming out from Slash. Pistol kill from King George will remove Fox. And Gurmy gets a 1 trade onto Avian. A 2-on-4 now. Diffuser did get planted, however. My man picks off 1 kill, trying to make it back into man count. Goes for a second, but misses the target. It's going to be a 2-on-2 now with Gurmy taking out the head there of Young, Slash, and King George. Gurmy will fall as my man gets to the last minute alive. Gets a couple shots there on a Slash in the side. You have 2 members from VG. Diffuser has been planted. There's about 25 seconds to go. And Gurmy, I'm sorry, my man, last minute alive, still fighting tooth and nail against Slash here inside of the kitchen. Goes for some shots, King George. Oh no, looks as though my man picks off 1. Goes for the revolver shots above, but he does not have enough time.
Yeah.
This automatically goes to Vertical Gaming, regardless if this kill happens or not. There
Both
it
of them
goes.
will survive the round, but that doesn't really matter. It will be a Vertical victory. Good execution there for Vertical. I like the attempt at the defense there from Excellence. They were obviously planning on collapsing on that kitchen as soon as the defuse started coming through, but the problem that happened is Vertical just basically stacked all 5 players straight in. Well, not all 5 actually, 4 players straight in through the Geisha. And that amount of pressure is not easily alleviated or collapsed upon by the defenders. Too many bodies really from VG for Excellence to handle. Plus that great push from Slashug into the delivery hallway. If that hadn't happened, then if he hadn't got that swift double kill, then it still could have been an excellent collapse there from Excellence.
Definitely. That was just a pristine gunfight that you had to win, and Slash came out on top.
That's the right way to do it. Now 3-2 Vertical. This has been the slugfest that we saw in the first map so far, but this is about where Vertical Gaming walked away with the lead. The question is, will Excellence keep it going and push it to overtime? Now, interestingly, we've not seen overtime yet between these 2 teams.
We have not, and
First map was definitively in favor of VG, and the second map was definitively in favor of Excellence.
yep, each 5-1 if I recall.
No, 5-2, 5-1, I believe.
You're right.
Excellence 1-2 in
Correct,
the
it
first
was-
map.
Attackers have recovered
And then,
their-
so, I mean, Excellence has been feeling pretty strong here so far on map number 3 as well. I do think that this is probably going to be our overtime map here, ladies and gentlemen.
That camera right there is why you bring in IQ.
Yeah, so
Right here.
we're talking about how easy it is to play. Like there are so many spots to put cameras on outside on Skyscraper that will afford you plenty of information, and you can tell here, VG are going to use it to get some great runouts. My man just barely.
Oh, Kitty
he's
Sweet
going to go
next
for the ball.
one. He grabbed 1 kill, and that's going to be the sledge off the board. 2 frag grenades on as Brian gets the knife kill.
So aside from just the man, actually there's a trade back from Foxay, so that's actually going to be really bad for VG. This is probably going to be this trade back here in terms of rounds from Excellence because of those 2 kills. Such a man advantage in the favor of... Yeah, okay, so a 5-4 is not as bad as a 4-3. A 4-3 is definitely in the favor of the team with the 4, because at some point you start losing so much control. Having only 3 players, the defenders there's a lot of pressure on them now. I like what Eclipse is doing here with these holes. Although I don't know that it's really going to change much. To be completely honest, I think it's mostly just a distraction, as King George is playing aggressively inside of the T. If an attacker comes around the corner, they're going to see those holes and fixate on them, which will give King George the ability to peek around the corner.
Now, as soon as the tip of this gun is spotted or bullets are seen, Eclipse will either wallbang or get this shot down onto Brian.
You see the bullet tracers coming through the wall, but he's going to stay firm on. Wow, it's all down to
Gurmy
Eclipse
and
now.
Gio picking up Young and King George. Last man alive is going to be Eclipse.
I don't
He
think
gets
he knows.
one, but a 3-on-1 now.
I don't think he knows he has the diffuser there,
He
so he's
does
going to get
not.
aggressive.
Fox A going to be at the bottom of the stairs. Flashbang comes on out. Not even necessary as Fox picks up the kill. Round 6 goes into the hands of Excellence. It's a 3-on-3 now, or 3-3.
Yeah, and this is that's kind of honestly what I expected there. I mean, obviously both of these teams feeling very strong right now. No match point going to be coming out yet, and I do think we're going to see overtime here between them. It's going to be Excellence back onto the defense. They're going to be able to defend Karaoke Tea Room, which they have had mixed success here, of course. They lost their first attempt. They won their second. But arguably on that second defense attempt, they were pretty strong, seemingly, against VG. However, the way that VG attacked this on their second attack is they brought that Montaigne to the field and went for a little bit of an older push that really did not work at all. And as you can tell here, VG have opted not to bring Montaigne this time. So I think they're saying, okay, yeah, that clearly did not work for us. Let's not try to force it again. So this could be VG winning this round and then walking away with their lead, as they'll probably be able to. So if VG wins this round, put themselves on 4-3, that's going to be match point. Then if they go on to win their defense of the kitchen of the karaoke room, then that's going to be the series in favor of VG. But it's a big if. Of course, Excellence is putting up a great fight throughout the series, and of course this specific map.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Now, looking at VG here, they are starting on the south end of the map, working their way up to the balcony of Geisha.
Oh, this time they're actually going to spot Gurmy and light him up, but I don't think it's really going to matter too much here. It's just going to mean Gurby's going to be forced to go somewhere else and roam a different portion of the map. He's lost one HP's, one bullet's worth of HP, but that's really not a big deal for Gurmy. Playing Pulse as a 3-speed operator, it's not what you're relying on.
Looking on over here, King George is going to hold down that corner, or hold down that corridor again, which he had to get off of. I think it was round number 1 previously, and that allowed for Gurmy to get the entry on up to the north stairs, pick off a kill. Now yet again, another good Valkim coming out of Fox A. Just easily spotting this out from Eclipse. Says, hey, there's 2 on this balcony. It's going to be Eclipse and Young. And we'll see if we can get these kills down. 1.5 minutes left to go in the round, ladies and gentlemen. At 5-on-5 still to ensue.
Yeah, this is actually pretty typical between Excellence and VG. They do very much stall out on each other here. And this isn't a case of the attackers being too slow or the defenders being too passive. It's just an understanding for both these teams of what each other are doing and being inside the other team's mind. And they're trying to find the best opportunity to work through how Excellence defends, and Excellence is trying to find the best opportunity to capitalize on when that's what I'm talking about. That's that opportunity right there. Gio really capitalizing on it, going for a quick aggressive rush there. We'll take out Eclipse.
Now he knows that Avian is inside of the Geisha room. Some bullets just went flying into his side. Avian looking like he's trying to tag 1 kill. Slash gets the kill there onto Gurmy. That's the Pulse out of commission. We are going to see this looking like it's Brian going to have a heck of a time trying to hold down B. That is his second gas grenade, I believe. He might have 1 left in his arsenal. He does. He's got a hole opened up so he can drop it in the north stairs if he needs to. But right now, the castle barricade on the window of B is getting opened up. Young meleeed that open. King George now going to be here. Last gas grenade goes on out. Flashbangs come on in. Gets him just for a split second. Now he's going to duck on down, get back on up inside.
No gas grenades anymore.
Avian's going to push inside, go for some pre-fire. Brian comes out on top. Young then shoots to get the refrag on down. King George did pick up a kill. 2-on-2 now. Man trying to get back onto site. Looks like Diffuser going to get planted here in a moment. My man needs to go for a push. There goes one in. Looks like Gio will not get the kill. My man goes for it. Can he get King George down? Goes for the shots, tags him down, gets him. Can he also get it Young? He's got to push it right now to get it. He gets the pistol kill, and that's going to be excellent. Going up 4-3. Match point, series point here on Skyscraper.
Great job there from a man getting that clutch. Really did seem like a VG win there, but again, they lost. So the problem with the VG attacks that we've been seeing happen quite a lot is that they win, they take control but via refrags, right? Forcing their guys into tricky positions, they lose them, and then they get the refrag, they get the trade. And that's great, that's all well and good, but when it comes down to the last couple seconds and you have to get that defuse plant, you only have one man advantage. You don't have enough time to have, you know, two people fight one guy. So yeah, despite the fact they had the man advantage there, it just wasn't enough. Not enough coverage there coming out from VG. Not one extra person to get that kill after King George got down. And now Excellence Gaming are on match point, and all they need to do is successfully attack a karaoke defense here from VG.
I mean, you heard it from Fox earlier in the interview that going from a 5th, 6th place team in the Pro League last season and quote-unquote being a very, we'll call it, not well-known team. Some of the players, yes, they're known. They've been in the Pro League before. But the team itself and this combination of players is not very well known. To come out and possibly be the first place team out of North America is a feat that not many people and not many teams can say they've accomplished.
Can we see that scoreboard again? Look at that scoreboard. Look at my man and Geo right now putting up quite a lot of work there. And King George as well. I mean, we've been seeing some pretty incredible clutches for both of these teams, of course. And it's a lot of these rounds have come down to one or two people really just stepping it up. Fox is going to be going for that early aggression yet again. Looks like onto the underneath the yellow. Now, of course, his teammates are going to drone him out. Make sure that it's clear. You know, that he can actually go for that. I think that actually we will have someone from VG attempting to stop that. It looks like one of the 3 speeds between either the Jaeger. Yeah, it's going to be the Jaeger. He's actually playing on the drone drop down, as you can see there over by Drum. He's going to be waiting for that Ash to rush in, I think. Maybe trying to drop down and pick her off. I'm not sure. Can't quite see him. Nope.
Gurman's going to be on this west balcony, similar to where King George sits, and just watching for some of the rotation pattern. My man looking around says, hey, is there a Valk game out here? Most likely there is, and he just is not able to see it yet.
It's a very aggressive play here from Slash, and it will be capitalized upon by Geo. Good job to Geo there. Double Claymore.
Double Claymore.
We're not taking chances anymore with King.
Crisscross applesauce. You can see it right down there at the windowsill.
So directly countering King George, as you can see.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Inside the mind of King George.
That's a good double up, though. I think that's actually the right call there from Excellence.
A bomb has been located.
I gotta imagine after losing that last round, they're like, no,
I just want to see
never again.
I want to see like 2 more. Just go like 4 Claymores all at the window.
Okay, that would be just overkill. Come on, man.
Hey, it's King George we're talking about.
The only way to counter 2 Claymores is to like throw an impact or a C4, and that would counter 4 as well as it would counter 2. It doesn't look like Foxy actually did that to Ashley last time, or last couple times underneath yellow. But it's not going to matter, as Brian's going to take out Young. And now it's a 3-on-5. Looks like Excellence is going to deny this overtime here for VG.
Very possible. 55 seconds left on the board. King George, Eclipse, and Avian. Last 3 alive on VG. Fox is going to go up the north stairs, try to get a couple shots there on Eclipse. Looks as though King George gets one on a Gurmy and gets traded down to Avian, picking up the kill there on a Fox. 3-on-3 now. However, Eclipse has been injured. That means Avian now needs to cover and allow King George to rotate over, try to pick up his teammate. But right now, I don't think he's going to get safe enough or feel comfortable enough to do so. 30 seconds on the board. There's one enemy that's been detected outside. Oh, they are going to go for the pickup. Eclipse navigates back into the corner. My man tags 1 down. Avian still tucked around. My man goes for a second kill there. Picks up Eclipse. That's 2 down. King George last alive. My man gets a triple kill to get a clear Excellence, winning this map, winning this series, making them the first place team out of North America. A wonderful clutch and a wonderful round set of matches here from Excellence.
Not one single overtime in this entire best of 3, and Excellence managed to come out on top against all odds. 60% hold victory for VG to... and it didn't really seem like, to the 40% of Excellence, and it didn't seem like people thought that Excellence could take out VG as a squad, yet here they are, standing victorious in this 2-1.
13 kills from a man on that series.
Well done.
Tremendous feat. Like you said, it didn't even go into overtime.
Not once.
And I got to say, that is one heck of a showing. I wanted to say this before, but I didn't want to jinx anyone because we know I jinxed Adam last week. My man, I don't think I've ever seen him off his game. I don't recall a game where I'm like, my man, what are you doing? What are you doing? But he's always been on his game whenever I've seen him play.
Well, you know that the next match that you see him play, he's going to be off his game suddenly. What have you done? Let's take a look at the highlights from Skyscraper, ladies and gentlemen, to lock out this series. See how it was that Excellence managed to take themselves from a team that, let's be honest, not many people knew much about, to now the #1 seed in North America. What a fantastic feat.
That's also to mention the upset of the polls. We saw a poll earlier that gave about 65% in favor of Vertical winning today.
And I mean, it's that experience where people are thinking about. It's that it's the fact that they're a team that have been around for a long time. They have a wider fan base, of
King
course.
George, you're nutty, dude.
Yeah, that was just an insane play from King George. Let's be honest. This match would have been over much sooner if it weren't for plays like that from King George or Slashuk. I mean, equally so, though. I mean, my man, it wouldn't have been a victory at all for Excellence if it weren't for my man. And on that note, this run out from Slashuk definitely favored defenders, taking out my man there.
I mean, to me, that's typical Slash.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why he was brought onto this roster. We talked with King George first play day we saw VG play, and they had said we brought Slash onto the roster because we like his aggressiveness. He wasn't fitting well on Continuum last season. He was a very passive player. He was played on site.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Slash that is able to roam free and do his jazz.
Yeah, you got to be able to play as the player that you are, whether it be an anchor, whether it be a roamer, whether it be just an Ash Jaeger main. I mean, you got to be able to fit into your role, whatever role that be. And Slashuk seems to have been able to come into his own here on VG and has been putting in some great work.
Yep. And so that's going to be it. Our first series underway. Now, ladies and gents, for those of you just tuning in, Excellence Gaming did win 2-1 over Vertical Gaming. Both teams are still going to land. This match was only to decide the seeding as to who's first, who's second. That not only dictates like you said, the seeding for this coming LAN event, but also you need to know who's first and who's second for the potential group stages of next season. You need to know what group and what bracket you're going to be in. So with that, ladies and gents, please stay tuned. We're going to take a short break here while we get underway with our second series. So a few minutes from now, you'll be back here with our lovely faces. Stick around, ladies and gents. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are on the final day of the typical games here for the North American scene of the Rainbow Six Siege. My name is Sean Bloodbath Rosenbaum. Here's Kickstar. We just got done getting our top 2 teams out of North America and figuring out who's actually number 1.
Yeah, and now we've got we've got teams number 3 and 4 to be decided coming up here for North America. Now, the thing to note about that is I said teams number 3 and 4. There's only 3 slots to make it to LAN here for this season coming out of North America. So one of these teams will not be making it to Gamescom, and that is huge. Whereas in this previous match, both of these teams were already guaranteed a spot. They were feeling pretty comfortable. So, seeding and finding out who's actually really the best. Whatever. This is make it or break it. This is the end of the road. And not only is it make it or break it, this is the second time both of these teams have been put in this position. So there's a lot riding on their shoulders here, and that pressure has not been alleviated since their previous matchups in the group stages.
Yeah, I mean, through the group stages, through the first week of playoffs, this is gonna be wearing down on these teams. It's kind of been building. I mean, you know, in this setup of the league, in this kind of structure, you lose 2 games, you're out. Now, each of these teams have lost 1 game in the group stages. They lost their game in the playoffs. They're down to basically the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
If they win today, they successfully jump off that cliff and they fly all the way here to Cologne, Germany.
Yeah, it's gonna be
They
great.
fall off the cliff and not die. Just metaphorically.
Well, if they lose, they won't be
And
making it to Gamescom. That's the important factor. If they lose, they won't make it to Gamescom, and because of that, we're going to be seeing a very close matchup between Elevate GG and Flipside Tactics, 2 teams who have in the past shown us some tremendous amount of skill and, well, strategy. And I think that this is going to be one of the better matchups that we're going to be seeing for this whole season. And this is a big if, in my opinion, from what we've seen in Elevate as of late, if they need to show up. Because Elevate is a great team, but they've been struggling recently. And if they're able to show up against Flipside, we're going to be seeing map number 3. We're going to be seeing overtime on each one of these maps. And I think it's going to be close.
I think it will be as well. Now, we do have an interview underway. It's going to be with Mint from Flipside Tactics. Let's take a look. Mint, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. Now, this is ultimately your Flipside's last chance at getting into the LAN event here in Cologne, Germany. What sort of preparation did you go through today? I mean, we know VODs ultimately, but what other things?
This week's probably been one of the most intensive training weeks we've ever had. When we lost to VG last week, honestly, we were pretty lazy that week with scrims and everything. So we really stepped it up, put us into gear this time. We probably scrimmed 8 hours at least a day, which is we're usually scrimming 5 or 6. So it's a lot of scrims. Obviously, like we said, it's a lot of VODs, counter strats going in, watching the opponents. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all we were doing.
Awesome. Now, one of the things, Kix and I kind of talked about it earlier on during the last series, but we want to get your opinion on it, is when it comes time to play a match such as this, where it's make it or break it, how do you determine how much of your hand to show in regards to your strategies? I mean, yes, you know that if you win today, you're going to have to go on and play more games, which you don't want to necessarily give everything up, but you need to give up enough to basically win the game. How do you decide that?
Our philosophy right now is this is an elimination game. There's absolutely no holding back at this point.
Okay.
If we were to hold something back and then lose, we just wasted all those strats we just worked time on. So right now, like I said, everything's going to be coming out. And then we have like 3 or 4 weeks, I believe, if we were to win, to come up with brand new strategies.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, ultimately you have a whole set of new teams that you've never played before that you'll probably come up with strats for. And when we talked with King George earlier, he had said that, okay, there are basically, like you said, multiple weeks to basically recreate strategy. So it's good to hear that we'll see your best today. So with that, Mint, I want to thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to bring up before we head out here today?
Nope, just hope for a good match. Thanks for the fans in the chat. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome, Mint. Well, thank you very much for your time and good luck to your team today.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks. I want to see everything from this series, and it sounds like Mint and the rest of Flipside will do just that.
Well, it's worth noting that I've never seen Mint so very focused before. Mint's usually a pretty calm player, and let's take a look at this roster first before we get into that. Flipside Tactics, Mint, Pojoman, Hot and Cold, Adam, and Shala is going to be the Flipside Tactics roster. So yeah, Mint's usually a pretty calm player, pretty calm individual. You know, I think from every interview we've had from him in the past, you know, he seems pretty relaxed, you know, just hanging out, you know, trying to, you know, do his best, but I could hear the urgency in his voice. I could hear the focus today. And you know, having heard what he just said about how this has probably been their hardest grind week ever, I think we're going to see a very strong Flipside today.
I think it takes a special kind of person to admit that they had slacked off and that they're coming back ready to go. Because they said they did slack off a little bit previously, and that's why they're in this position, as opposed to playing in our first series against Vertical Gaming.
Right. And,
or, sorry, against...
Introducing new Nintendo 2DS XL. Its new sleek look is backed by a lightweight design, some pretty big screens, and can play all your favorite 3DS games in 2D, as well as new ones like Hey Pikmin, where you can use Pikmin to solve puzzles and defeat enemies, and Miitopia, where you can cast your favorite people in your own RPG adventure. New Nintendo 2DS XL for only $149.99. Games rated E to E10+. Great, now I want one.